Welcome to another episode of The Stream Room, a podcast about content creation by content creators for content creators. And today we're talking about unethical sponsorships. Where's the line? Also answering some of your questions that you put obviously in the comments of the YouTube. And last but not least, I've completely forgotten because my brain is mush.
The dangers of peer-to-peer feedback.
That was a beautiful transition to, and I have no idea.
You know what? We may just keep that in,
I think
and
we
I'll
leave
cut
it.
it going to Eljay say the dangers of peer-to-peer feedback.
Just
All right.
leave it all. Don't even edit. Just leave it all in.
Okay, yeah, this is, you see behind the scenes, it's all, you know, it fits in well with my week in streaming. So I'm one of your hosts, Reapz.
Hello, I'm Eljay.
And I'm Nicktacular. Good morning, afternoon,
morning, boys.
evening, everyone.
Morning.
I've learned something, boys. And the reason why I'm saying leave it all in is because I've realized that people don't care. This is going to come across jaded, but I'm on 3 hours of sleep. But I've learned, boys, that people do not care. They will draw the line beneath themselves. And that is fine. That is what they do. And each to their own. Everyone's going to do that. But I've become a bit more cynical this week. I'll be honest. I've become a bit more cynical this week because I've seen a lot of content creators make decisions with working with certain brands and doing certain things because it benefits them and they don't care about their audiences and how the audience will react. And I got to throw it out there. I get a lot of unethical sponsorships. Do you guys get unethical sponsorships emailed to you?
Of course. I mean, we have talked about Artesian in the past, and there are other ones. I think we all can agree that we get a lot of emails regarding startup companies that don't even have like a actual web page. They're just like, this is kind of our idea and we're thinking of doing it. And that's when you immediately go, why are you sending me this? Especially when you call me rappers and things like that. You know, there's it's just like, I think they're casting out a wide net. And hopefully out of those 1,000 people that they bot message, they can get one person to get their money from or to get their kind of image. And people don't read contracts. I've learned that in all facets of life. People do not read contracts. So please, for the love of crumb cake, read a contract before signing anything. I think there's also that big deal about, oh, they're reaching out to me. I'm a big deal. You know, I feel like a somebody. And they jump on that. And that's what they want.
Yep.
That's why they send you those emails and go, we think your stream is fantastic. Everything that you do is of another tier. And then they don't know who you are. This is literally just a call out. Nick, I'm sure you get this all the time as well.
Oh yeah, I've been reached out to by some weird website that sells like random crap. I've been reached out to by someone, I assume, claiming to be the owner of the Opera browser. And I was reached out to, I think, once from a company involved in gambling somehow as well, which leads very good into a topic that we're going to be discussing today. But it's a Wild West, really. It truly is.
Indeed, it is.
I've instantly got us derailed. I apologize.
No, it's fine.
I legitimately have had my heart a little bit broken.
Well, we can fix that. We can mend it.
You know what sucks, boys? I'm gonna throw it out there. All right, I'm gonna throw it out there. I know a lot of content creators. I've met a lot of content creators, and I feel like you two are some of the most real content creators that I've gotten to speak to, and I think that's nice because I meet new content creators every single day, either from emailing me, either from finding their streams, whatever it is. And I feel like every time I meet someone, they usually want something. And they usually want something in some form. Or they'll act a certain way and it's like private DMs, you know, just be yourself with me. You know, I understand we've all maybe got a bigger persona. And I'm struggling with it, you know, I'm a little bit jaded. And you two, you know what, boys? I love yous, all right? That's what I want to say.
You too, man.
Can we say this isn't parasocial? We're going to meet each other. There's going to be an orgy happening at PAX, room 217, if anybody's interested.
Listen, if you're in room 216, you're not getting any sleep. I'm sorry.
I'm a screamer.
We can stream this bad boy. We can stream. But no, honestly, when I first got into contact with you, Eljay, I think, you know, you were still starting your brand on Stream Scheme. And when I saw it, I was just like, this seems like a really genuine guy. And now I know that when you see a lot of people on YouTube, they are obviously presenting to a camera and they can be completely different to what you know in real life. But I was like, this is an Australian and he seems really cool. And then I went over to Nick's stream because I've been following Nick's stream for years and years and years. And we've had, the kind of things like, how's it going thing, but we don't really know each other. And when we kind of organized this, I was like, okay, who are two people that I think are really, of the same headspace as me? And obviously we reached out to each other and we're like, do you want to do this? And we're like, yeah, let's do this. And now, can I just say, we didn't proclaim this when it happened, but we are into double digits of this podcast. And the feedback that we've been getting from you, all out there, like especially the ones leaving comments and likes and everything like that to grow this platform and to grow this brand means so much. So thank you so much, everyone. And I really love doing this every week because every time that I finish the podcast, I feel kind of rejuvenated. Even if I'm having a really week, which has been, we'll talk about that soon, but yeah, it feels really great. So thank you.
Look, while you're there, let's do it. Let's do it, Reapsy. Just tell us how you going, man. How's your week been?
Can I get like a leather couch, and if you can bring out a notepad, this would be great.
Wait, a black leather couch? Hang on, where are we going with this?
Room 217. What I was going to say is, so this week has been crazy for me. As you can tell, different background. Why? Because I've moved everything from another stream room into this stream room to talk about on the stream room. Yesterday was my 5-year anniversary on Twitch. Big deal. Thank you so much. But for the past 4 days, as you know, I talked about last week's podcast, I didn't get the asset. So I'm like, how am I going to do this? So I did this big thing about being canceled, right? Which allowed me time to do everything with these new computers and set up a new OBS, set up Stream Deck again. Don't get me started on Stream Deck. The fact you have to individually put audio files to the pre-installed bloody switches that you had on another computer drives me up the wall. Anyway, I did all that, new cameras, new everything like that, did a 20-minute video to start off the stream. Clicked, let's go, start streaming, let's do this. Here's the big kind of reveal of the new studio. My internet shuts off halfway through. I then have to take out the internet, put it back in, Australian internet, start it up again, but a bit further in. Shut off again when I was about to show you the actual new studio. I have never been so angry. You know that scene in a movie where somebody screams and the birds fly away type thing? That was me in my neighborhood. After that, I did go streaming live again and it did work out perfectly. And, it showed and everyone seemed to hopefully really enjoy the new studio setup. It was great in that regard, but it did throw me. Because it's like you want everything to be perfect. I did so much work. Like you, Eljay, I know that you've got a big 2-year anniversary coming up tonight. And when you put in so much effort, for it to be internet that screws you from this big reveal, it's all about pacing. You know this. You want to set up an atmosphere. And for it to be shut down twice, I was distraught. But I had to put on that face and just keep going. I was tired. I've been sick this whole week. I've been in front of these computer screens for 12 hours for the past 4 days. And just a little thing, it throws you so much. And I still got work to do, but that has been my week. It has been absolute hell. But when I saw those people that are part of my community and I did the 5-year anniversary stream, I felt a lot better as time went throughout because I was kind of into to the new mold of things. But that's been my week. It's been absolute hell. I've still got so much shite to do. But I've also got a lot of feedback from Nick, from Eljay about camera settings, about what I should do for this, just really nice things because those little comments, those little critiques, they really do help so much. And knowing that we're all in this together, that we do have those crap weeks, it's like, I'm not alone. I am not alone.
No, it will never escape tech issues. It just won't happen.
It's also like you have like zero control. Can we how like and then this is I had a moment. Okay. All right. To jump on what you're talking about, Friday night, I went live and I was in such a good headspace, boys. I was in such a good headspace. I was popping off. I was an hour and a half in. I was crushing the game. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I was having a great time. People were loving it. All right. Boom. Servers die. Hard. Everything. ANZ servers just start dying on me. Like I can barely stay connected. I'm buffering. I'm going up to 30,000 bitrate, then to 300, then to 0, and it's just absolutely breaking. And so this is what I was going to say to you, Reapz. It wasn't your internet. Yeah. And if you unplugged it and replugged it back in, and that's when it started working, that's most likely your IP address or potentially your NAT settings or something like that were finally allowed into the Twitch servers. Because
that's what happened.
What we don't realize is the fact that the Twitch ANZ servers right now, something's going on and no one is telling us. Okay. So about 4 weeks ago, we used to have Sydney. We used to have Sydney Oceania 1 and Sydney Oceania 2.
Yep.
And then we added Sydney Oceania 3, and then one disappeared, and now 2 is gone, and we've just got 3.
Yep.
And it's like over the last like 6 weeks, they've been changing all the servers, and ever since then, I have been dying on stream, like literally just my net just crashing out because I think it's overloading. There are too many ANZ streamers on, and for some reason, I can't get a good connection half the time. And I'm losing my mind, boys. I'm literally losing my mind trying to fix this. And I had a little moment on Friday because someone's like, maybe you need to lower your bit rate, or maybe you need to do this. And I just like looked at chat and I said, I know you're trying to help. I make guides on how to do this. I know how to diagnose it. I can't, like, I'm losing my fucking mind. Like, I was in such a, and the thing is, when you're having like a great stream and something like that and you can't control goes wrong, it takes the high highs of you having a great time become high highs of you being pissed. And I was
That's
like,
what happened to me, man.
I was like, I know what to do. It's not my fault. Like, this is 6 weeks. I can't control it. I've got partners reaching out to me being like, hey, why haven't you been streaming much lately? And I'm like, because I can't. I'm going live and it's crashing. Trying. It's like, I want to go live. I want to play Elden Ring. All I want to do is fucking stream. You know, like I had one of my highest sub counts in like 6 months over the past like few weeks, and it's just slowly dropping back down because I can't maintain my velocity that I have.
That's what happened to me, mate. When I took those 4 days off. Sorry to go on a complete tangent,
you're
but
right.
you ever have that fear of like, you know, when you take that time off, which you have to do things, right? You just have to do things. That you feel like that momentum is gone. You've got to build it back up. The building back up to that momentum is a lot harder than maintaining it. And as soon as you do drop off for one, or you've got to switch your day around 1 week, people are like all confused and always like, why is it not you live today? It's like, well, I did mention it, but your momentum just goes all the way down and you feel bad. Like I feel so bad when that happens. Sorry to cut you off again.
No, you're good. Yep. So essentially, I'm shitting my dacks, which if you don't know is an Australian phrase for pooping your pants.
Yeah.
I'm crapping my dacks because tonight I have my 2-year anniversary, and my wife and I have put a huge amount of time and energy into prepping this big cooking stream, right? Where we've got all these ingredients, we've got all these ideas we're going to make. It's like 3-4 hours of us hanging out in the kitchen, sharing stories from the last 2 years of me as a streamer, while chat can do things such as literally spend bits to add ingredients to my cake recipe as I'm making it, right?
That's great. That's great.
So 500 bits, I'll add an extra egg. And I've got 24 eggs there. So you know what? You want to add eggs? We can add eggs. All right.
It's going to be a goopy
I have one
cake.
question. Do you have any of that hot sauce left?
I got worse hot sauce. I went and bought specifically Carolina Reaper hot sauce.
Oh, man.
So apparently it's apparently you need to wear gloves to use it.
I've
said I've said for 1,500 bits, I'll put a teaspoon into the cake and it can be repeated. And then for 2,000 bits, I'll put a teaspoon into me. I've also gone and got ice cream.
You get W buddy there, cake and you,
But here's the thing, right? So these are like individual payments. Like you pay for the single thing to go in, right? But here's the thing: there's lots of cheaper options as well. But one of them is like for 600 bits, I'll cut up some carrot and chuck it in the sponge cake, right?
Yeah.
But for 1,600 bits, I'll just put a whole carrot in the sponge cake. That's just like whatever. But like, so I'm so excited. I'm so excited because we're making like sugar cookies. We're gonna decorate the cakes for like based on the stream memories and stuff. Like we've got such a fun stream set up.
Yeah.
And I there's this one thing on there that I can't control. I cannot control whether or not the ISP and the Twitch servers are gonna play nicely. For the last 3 days, I have been Twitch testing and running inspect ingests, every single thing. I ran a 10-minute live stream yesterday, which no one can see because if you're in OBS, you can just set it so as to go to an inspect server instead really easily. And Twitch will show you your thing. I ran a 10-minute test stream and I had 3% dropped frames and it was so unsteady. And I know 3% isn't much in 10 minutes, but it's like enough that it would cause it's not the perfect viewing experience.
No.
And like, this is my 2 years, right? And out of my 2 years, I've never had consistent issues like this. Like this is, and I can't fix it. I've been on the phone to ISPs. I've been everywhere. I've been hunting down. I'm like, take me off CGNAT. And they're like, you're not on CGNAT. And I'm like, I am. And they're like, oh, you're not. And I'm like, I don't have a static IP, which means I'm on CGNAT. Change my IP. And they're like, you're not on it. And I'm like, please just transfer me to Sydney. Like, cause right. Like I'm like, cause I said, I'm like, where are you calling me from right now? Are you one of the engineers from NBN or are you from the Telstra people? And they were like, oh no, we're the Telstra people. We are currently overseas. And I was like, can you do a line reset and take me off CGNAT and fix my IP address? And they're like, no, we don't have authority to do that. And I said, then can you transfer me to your NBN department because they do have authority? I've spoken to them before. And they're like, we can't escalate the issue because your line is showing no faults for normal internet use. And I'm like, it's my job. You can't see the line fault. I know what's going wrong. Send me to the right people. Just send me to the right people because if you can't do it, and they won't do it. No. And so I've said multiple times, like, if you can't solve this, I'm going to Aussie Broadband. I'm going away to someone else. I won't say who I'm with currently.
You have to, like, sometimes you do have to give them that thread of going to somebody else, because then that shows that's when they actually do things. And I know it's a bad thing. I'm not saying go there immediately, but that's what I had to do as well.
Yeah.
And by the way, surprised you stuck with them for so long, honestly.
Well, I've never had issues until recently, right? Like, I've never had issues. And and people are probably going to hear me say, transfer me to Sydney, and think that I'm being racist or something like that. I'm not. It's literally just like, the overseas call centers don't have the jurisdiction on the NBN Australian stuff, and they can't do line resets. They can only tell you to reset your modem and do like the basic stuff, which I've done 1,000 times over the past 6 weeks. And every time I talk to them, they try and make me do it all again. And I'll be like, okay, well, I've personal hotspotted and tested this and done this, so I know for a fact it's our particular connection. But if you want, I can reset it again. And they're like, yes, please reset it again. And I'm like, anyway, in other news about that, I'm playing Elden Ring. I'm loving it. Elden Ring's amazing. I wish I could play it more. and anyway, I'm playing Kirby on Friday. I've got this amazing stream tonight. I have like 6 or 7 videos fully scripted and like 3 videos or 4 videos fully filmed, which I'm super excited about. I added a new community herald, which is like an intermediary between community mod and normal community member. And that's Breezy, and they're handling community events. So they're organizing community events in my Discord, and that's been going amazing. Only added them 4 days ago. We've had 2 community events across the weekend, like some impromptu ones.
Nice.
Had like 12 people playing Mario Kart, had like 12 people playing Gartic Phone together. It's been so cool to see. And I didn't have to be there for any of it, right? One of the things about community events for me in Discord is usually to get like 10 or plus people, I have to be there because people want to go and play with the streamer and spend time with it and stuff. But it's all just been organized for me. And I haven't had to do it, and it's so fucking cool to see. So shout out to Breezy for that. And then on the topic of videos, last week's podcast, got to throw it out there. So sorry, I waffled so hard. There was zero energy in my voice. I listened back to it, and I'm like, Eljay, you're talking so much, and you're talking like over and over about nothing. I was like,
you're a harsh critic on yourself, man. You're too harsh.
It's seriously. But anyway, last week's podcast was the ninja one.
Yes.
Which we were very fair, I think, about the ninja stuff. We made fun of the course, and the critique we gave him was about the course and the irony behind him pushing a course about how to build a brand and do a bunch of certain things, while also having terrible brand moments in the past few weeks and in the past years and in general. Like saying, like telling people that he's cracked the code to build a brand, and then turning around and also having a month ago him attacking, or not attacking, but joining in on a brigade against one of the largest female content creators, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's the irony of it.
Yeah.
But we were pretty kind. I was a little bit less kind in the video I released last night on Stream Scheme about it. But I was still pretty much just focusing only on the course, right? And I want to throw it out there. If you're listening to this and you're a YouTuber or a small content creator and you're like, oh, none of my videos are doing well. They're all going down. I'm losing viewership, blah, 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 blah. Last video I released, not the ninja one, was the 10th. So when you upload a video, you get 1 through 10 that scores you, okay?
Yeah.
So I uploaded the TikTok video. Okay, how to do TikTok. It got 10th. I talked about this last week. So it got the worst performance out of any video of the last 10 videos I've released. Released last night's video, it's first. It's second, it's third. It's like sitting amongst all of those. It was first up until about an hour ago, and now it's down onto second. Like, seriously, guys, I feel like so many people get so put off when they're uploading and making content. They're like panicking. They're like, oh, it's not working. It's not doing this. Dude, honestly, consistency is so crucial. If you just keep putting stuff out and keep trying to improve, one of them will pop off, and then you see why it popped off, and you double down.
That's smart.
Imagine if I'd gotten 10, the TikTok video had gotten 10, and I was like, well, my channel's dead. I'm giving up.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we all struggle with it because like all of us have personal channels as well.
Yes.
Where, it's like we're uploading streaming edits and stream content and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when we upload them, I'm sure there are videos that we upload that don't do as well and some that do well. You just have to be used to it, right?
Yeah.
But I'd love to I'd love to, once Nick tells us about his week, I'd love to read out a few comments from the Ninja video.
Okay, for
If
sure.
that's okay, from
That
the
sounds great.
Scheme Ninja video, because they're a bit funny.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. Honestly, like listening to just like you being like, oh, I'm so jaded today and this and that. I'm literally imagining you just like just sitting there, just going like, get off my lawn, just like, you know, dodgy brands, get off my lawn.
Clint
Children,
Eastwood
get
style.
off my lawn.
Yeah.
Like he's locking his shotgun. Let's go.
I mean, yeah, I don't publicly push a lot of the jadedness out there. Like, I don't publicly sit there and say things like, don't work with this brand, don't do this, don't do that. Like, this Ninja thing is the first time I've ever done a call out where I've openly looked at something publicly and said, what is this? This is a scam. You know what I mean? Like, this is the only time I've ever done it. And I said to you guys last week, I wish I'd done it for Artesian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I work with guys over at Stream Scheme who do the website side of things, who handle, like, they get a fudge load of emails every day from all these brands. And they have asked me time and time again, please do a video on Stream Scheme about the dodgy brands who are predatory to small streamers. And I've always been like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. But the longer I'm in this industry and the more I see it happening, the more it frustrates me, because I really give a shit about small streamers, and you see them get just completely used.
Yeah.
Like, that's Artesian brands, Artesian builds use them. So many other sponsors use them. The Ninja course, I honestly believe, is predatory. Like that like, I think that is taking money from people who probably aren't earning much money in the first place. And they're using their desperation and their trust and idolization. And it's just like, I don't know.
I feel like it's marketed as like a get rich quick scheme, but we'll talk about that later. Nick, quickly
Nick, how
let
was
us
your week?
know how your goddamn week was, because obviously we've been quite jaded. Hopefully it's been different for you.
Honestly, I've had a pretty smooth week. Like, we've actually had we've continued with the consistency of the Legends Arceus Nuzlocke and then our, Yu-Gi-Oh! Sundays. And it's been really good. Like, the followers per hour has been increasing, and we've had lots of new unique chatters that are coming into the stream and talking, and people returning as well. So it's been actually a really solid week with some really good growth. And so that's been really a really positive thing for me. Completely missed my 6-year anniversary. It was back on the 16th of March. I've been so focused on other stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, it's been 6 years. Oh yeah, okay. I better start organizing that now.
Just quickly, are we all March babies? I think we are, because all of our anniversaries are in March.
Yeah.
What happened in March that all made us drink the Kool-Aid? What's going on here?
For me, pandemic. Maybe for you guys, getting new equipment. I will quickly say, PAX tickets are about to go on sale.
In 3 minutes.
In 2 minutes for me. And I don't have my credit card.
This is great. We're going to keep this in.
We're going to keep this in. Go.
All right, now
we
when
do not
he
want
comes
to miss
back,
those PAX tickets.
we need him to leak his credit card so that we can buy it off his card as well. All right.
That's a really good idea.
But, okay,
That's a
first
really good
let's
idea.
ask him. So we're talking about our mums while you were gone. What's your mum's maiden name, babe? What was the first street that you lived on? We're just talking about our porn names, Eljay. So you've got to do like your mum's maiden name and the first street that you lived on. What was that?
Oh, your dog's first name as well.
Yeah.
Joke's on you. My security questions are actually...
All right. A short intermission while we look at PAX tickets. Play that music and screen, Reapz.
3, 2, 1.
Not doing anything.
No.
Still not there. Attendee registration. Ah! What's a quick rush to Twitter? Check PAX Reg.
Oh, you have to click. There's a link in their tweet.
I'm buying a 3-day badge, right? You just buy a 3-day badge, right? 3-day badge.
Yeah. Full 3-day badge. Yeah.
Your estimated wait time is more than 3 hours?
What?
Just update 2. Yeah.
What? I'm signing up for it though. Like,
What? I'm on
What?
How?
I'm like giving details and data in. They're asking me for codes and names and stuff. I'm putting my card details in, baby.
I'm getting. Can we send you money? Can you buy tickets for all of us?
What is going on?
I'm buying. I'm right now. I am buying every ticket in the entire thing just to fuck with you, and you can't
You're
have
gonna be
any of
that
it.
scalper who's like, I can get you a ticket, but it's gonna cost double.
Okay, it's
what
gone
you want."
down. Estimated more than 1 hour. It's
2
gone
hours
down
for
One-
me. God damn it!
Boys, get good.
What is
I
this
saw like a-
bullshit?
You know what? Can't stream to Twitch, but you know what? Can get a PAX ticket.
Get fucking good, boys. Catch up. While we let you guys wait for your PAX tickets because you're both fucking scrubs, what I might do is I might read out some stuff for you. I might read out some.
Before we do, there's something I actually want to touch on that
Okay.
we ended a previous podcast with. I think it was a week or so ago. Boys, how many people did you get into your streams praising Gilgamesh?
Oh,
So many. I loved it.
I had a few. I had a few coming in here, and I even did the voice modulator, like you said, like
yes,
yeah, that type of thing. Yeah,
I forgot to do the reply back, to be entirely honest. I forgot to do that, and we praise him back. But I was just sat there just like feeling like, oh, yeah, that's pretty fucking pog. I'll give you
Yeah.
that. It's
I was
cool.
gonna say I had 3 people come in, they did it, and then they're like, "Yeah, I tried to do it with Eljay, but he didn't say anything."
I read them all
Called
out,
out.
and I was like, thing is, right? I had so many people in chat that this was on one of the nights. This was on one of the nights where things were going like really fast, and
Yeah.
people kept saying it, and I was sat there and I was like, yeah, this is great, but I don't want other people to think they're involved. I was
Yeah.
like, I want these people to know that I'm with them, but I don't want others to join in and think it's like some fun back and forth. So I was like, I see you, I understand, but I don't think
Nice.
they understood my subtlety. So I
Yes.
think because I think about my chat is if I said to them and I praise him back, then people who have no fucking clue what's going on would be like, "Hey LJ, giggle mash."
Yeah, I did the response, but then I was like, "Hey guys, you don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Go watch the podcast." I
Yes.
just use it as like a springboard to like.
I think we
to
should
promote
every
it.
week at the very end, just a little caveat, you know, for the OGs who spend all the way through listening, knowing they get all the little juicy bits. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, no, that's what I used to do on YouTube videos for like 6-7 months there. Every video I released, I'd say, and if you got this far, comment sassy or comment something. I would give them a word. And then the comments would just be full of like, and I'd use specific words that would seem really positive. So I'd be like, if you got this far through the video, then comment, wow, what was that? And then people would be like, wow, what was that? But then I'd forget that I'd added the code word and I'd be like, what's everyone freaking out about? What did I do?
When it backfires, that's great.
Oh god, that was what we were joking about. We were like, oh, like maybe LJ's forgot because all I knew was they just told me they were like, oh no, he didn't respond.
Yeah.
So I thought it was
LJ,
really,
you
really
were
funny.
saying that you had some spicy comments from
Yes.
your latest video.
Yes. So I will clarify, and I will just throw this out there. This is a video where it's very different to the normal content I produce. This was a video talking about Ninja's course because I honestly believe, as I said, it's predatory. And I want to throw it out there. If this course was about how to have 2,000 viewers or how to have 1,000 viewers or how to have 500 viewers plus and ways to stream to those people, you know what? I would shut my mouth because I am in no way in a situation where I should be able to judge him on that.
Yep.
But this course is about brand new beginners. It's for people who haven't even set up OBS yet. And if that's the case, I want to know what's going on here. I want to know why these beginners should spend 280 USD for a year-long subscription to Masterclass for this course so they can learn how to be streamers when someone like Epos Vox's Masterclass exists.
Yes.
That's my clarification.
Okay.
I've had overnight in the last 9 hours about 250 comments on the YouTube video. And I will say that 99.99999% of them are people in support of the sentiment and in support of the video. And they understand what I'm saying is, guys, there's free stuff out there. This seems like a cash grab, blah, 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 blah. But there are a few people who have commented, and some of them have prefaced it by saying they love my normal content. They love all these things. So I will throw it out there. This is more just a conversation and a discussion around whether or not making videos like this is an appropriate thing to do.
Okay.
But I've got a few comments here prepped for you guys, and I won't name names. But as I said, 99.99% of them are positive and fine. But I had someone say, essentially, that the video was pretentious and that I didn't do any thoughtful analysis, and it seemed like I was just doing an attack against Ninja as a person.
Right.
So they also preface this by saying they love my normal content and they love all those things and blah, 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 blah. And that's very kind of them. I really appreciate them. And I've already replied to them specifically, and they've replied back to me, and they've understood my point of view, which is lovely of them. But I feel like that's such a strange approach to say that it's a pretentious to say, hey guys, this is a scam, don't fall for scam. You know what I mean? But in the same vein, I've had another person who said, this video, Eljay, we love all your videos. Your videos are great. Everything's amazing. But Eljay, you're better than this. I love watching a stream. I love watching this, but you're better than this. This is clearly just you being malicious, which I thought was wild because I'm not punching down, right? I'm punching up at a multi-millionaire who makes millions monthly, who has tens of thousands of viewers, who's doing a quick cash grab to those viewers who idolize and look up to him, right? And I thought that was such an interesting thing to be like, you're better than this. This is malicious. When it's literally like, you know, I'm not sat there attacking someone who is weak and innocent and has nothing they can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that was wild. But both of those people, I understand, right? They expect me to be you know, this bastion of, I will always give you guys actionable advice. And this is a very different video. Someone else though on Twitter replied back to my tweet about the video saying, devil's advocate, hot take, how is this different to Amaranth selling farts in a jar? And they said, is the only difference one of them is preying on desperate lonely males and the other one is preying on small streamers. And they're like, why is the fart in a jar a brilliant marketing tactic and this isn't?
Okay, I can answer that too, but yeah, go on.
I don't feel like we need to answer that.
Yeah.
Am I losing my mind here to say that's some whataboutism that makes no sense?
Yes, one is a guarantee of something. Another one is you may get something out of this, but you are guaranteed to get exactly what is on the tin, and that's a fart in a jar.
It's a product. You're buying a physical product and knowing exactly what you're getting.
To advice, yes.
And the physical product won't tank your channel. Might tank your health, but you know that. It says it on the box. So that one was frustrating to me. But again, I assume it's just someone who's, I'm going to give it a good faith. They were honestly asking why one was a brilliant marketing tactic and one of them I see as predatory to small streamers who are desperate.
That's a good way of approaching it because again, on the internet, text carries no tone or inclination. So yes, definitely.
Exactly.
You're completely right though. If Amaranth was the one in Ninja's position that was putting out this masterclass, you'd have so many people writing it off immediately.
Yeah,
they would
and
write
more
it
backlash. Without a doubt, more backlash.
Yeah.
So a few people, then there's a few other people who, 2 or 3 other people who have been critical and saying that that Ninja wins, Ninja gets the W, which if they're using that language, I already expect they watch Ninja, so you're fine. And you can think Ninja's course is great. Go for it. I'm not saying it's not. These are my opinions. You can have your opinions, viewers. But the funny thing is, no one's given any critical feedback as to the parts of the video where I'm wrong. So out of the people who have said that Ninja's right and Ninja wins or you're an idiot and stuff like that, they've all just said things like, this feels so scripted, which it's not scripted. It's literally just dot points for this video. And I say that multiple times and you can tell because I stutter, I say, I repeat myself. Look at any video on the channel compared to this one and you'll go, this ain't scripted. They've just made fun of my laugh, which thanks for that. That really proves that Ninja's course is going to do the right thing. Brilliant.
Can we circle back on this later on, but go on.
I think we all have the same opinion. People who make fun of someone's laugh, lowest form of society, because you're making fun of someone's pure expression of enjoyment.
Of joy.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Straight up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you're mates with someone. Like, I got a mate who laughs like a goofy motherfucker.
Yeah.
And we make fun of that because he knows that we're only teasing and we actually, like, we're good friends.
Yes.
But if you're openly trying to be critical and insult someone's laugh, then you're literally just saying, I don't like when you have positive emotions. That's my take, at least.
And this is a quick tangent on the same thing because I was apparently on the front page yesterday for the 5th anniversary, but the cycles through type of thing.
Yeah.
When you get those people that come through, we're all going to get this, and we've all had this, and you're going to get this, Nick. Like when you're on the front page, it's people coming through and going, "Why is this on my front page?" And you're like, "Mother trucker, you took time out of your day to see my stream, know nothing about me, click into the stream, and then start typing to me." Why am I on the front page? You're crap, all this type of thing. And I'm like, Dad, first of all, calm down.
Yeah.
Secondly, never come back, ban that thing. But it's a weird mentality, especially on Twitter, where if you have an opinion, that somebody also has to have a contrarian opinion to you just so that they can be heard. I've noticed that a lot. And it happens on YouTube videos and everything like that, but more so on Twitter than anything else. So I just wanted to point that out there as you have been talking about your
I
replies.
had one experience during Grassroots. I had someone come in being like, "Why are you on the front page? You look like an ugly Mexican." I was like, "Oh, awesome!" Just like, yeah, cool. And I just like played off of it. It caught me by surprise. I was like,
just there for a
okay.
response. Yeah.
All right.
It just, as you get bigger, there's more and more of them, and the trick is to hopefully have a community that drowns it out, right?
Yes.
The problem is that because I read every single comment on YouTube, it doesn't get drowned out. Like as I said, I've read every single comment on this channel, and 99.99% are positive, right? And I'm just picking these ones out because I just feel like the criticism that I'm getting on the video is minimal, and it just feels so unfounded and so unbased. You know what I mean? Like. It doesn't make sense to me. I had a few people be very kind though. One of them said, "I hope you're okay, Eljay. This is a very scary video to make, and I hope you're going to do all right from it."
Oh,
that's
I was
really
like,
sweet.
That's very nice.
That's nice. I replied back saying, "Thank you. I think you overestimate my reach on the internet." Or maybe I underestimate my reach on the internet. I don't know.
I think you do underestimate at times, mate. You're definitely one of the founders up there of streaming advice.
He's best friends with Harris Heller now. He's like moved on.
You're
That is
you're
true.
150,000 plus YouTube channel. You, as much as you see yourself in a kind of atmosphere in your brain, is like, I'm just this guy who's living in Australia doing these videos, and some people watch them. No, you're definitely an influencer in that market now, and that's not a bad thing at all. I'm just saying that on the outside looking in.
I think I just lack any kind of confidence in those regards and those kinds of things. And I think it's because my stream hasn't scaled alongside the 150K. If my stream was at like 500 viewers, maybe I'd have a bit more of like a bigger ball sack. But right now it's kind of like, you know.
But I mean, you look at other people and they don't have those numbers as well. Like, you know, when those streamers out there with the streaming advice and everything, they don't have those numbers because again, it's its own thing. I wouldn't put it down, but I just want to let you know. Anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. But also, if that's the case, then you know what? I think I need to do videos like this every now and then because I was also getting comments from people, and this is like on another thing saying, I've been really struggling and I've been so tempted to buy this because I'm brand new and I've been streaming for 6 months and I wasn't sure how to move forward. So I was going to spend this and hopefully get some of the tips that I hadn't found out before. After seeing the course and looking into it properly because of this video, I feel like I would not get anything out of it that I can't get on channels for free.
Yeah.
And you know what? That one comment for me makes the whole thing fine.
That's
You
great.
know what I mean? That one comment for me makes me go, and there's also like 4 or 5 people exactly similar comments, but that one particular one makes me go, fuck yeah. There is one small streamer out there who was going to spend 280 USD of money they didn't have probably on a course, and now they've chosen not to. And maybe they'll put it to rent or put it towards a hobby. Or you know what? Skillshare? $15 and go learn how to use a camera and go learn all these things on Skillshare. I'm not sponsored.
I'm not sponsored by Skillshare, but I went on Skillshare and I learned a lot of stuff because they've got such a wide gamut of actual like big time professionals. Anyway, I don't want to go on because I'm not sponsored by them.
It's just so much cheaper as well, right?
Yeah, it's just, and you can cancel it.
Skillshare sponsor the streamer.
Yeah.
Skillshare, come on.
I mean, I have been in the past. I can, if you want, reach out. We can talk.
Yes. Our first sponsor.
Dude, brands love podcasts. They love podcasts.
They do love a good podcast.
Yeah.
It's because the audience is so much more committed to podcasts than it is to anything else.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay. But essentially, yeah. So I don't know. These comments are really, really interesting to me. 99% of them are all good. People insulting my laugh. People saying it's scripted. People doing all those things. There's no real feedback to it. Some people were like, and then a few people said virtue signaling. Right. Okay. And I want to talk about virtue signaling because virtue signaling, I think, comes down to one of the things we want to talk about today, which is the dodgy sponsors.
Okay.
And when people say virtue signaling, I usually just kind of laugh at the concept because to me, I often see virtue signaling as, or people who call out virtue signaling, I usually see that as you are saying something that you believe in. I personally don't care about or don't believe in that. And I think that you're just trying to make me feel worse for existing. You know what I mean? That's usually what the call out is. Mm-hmm. So I have a different definition of virtue signaling. Virtue signaling to me is when someone openly sets a line that they hold everyone else to, but then they break that line themselves.
Yeah.
That's personally what I now consider it to be. And here's the thing. For this entire Ninja video, for all of this stuff, I hold myself to this. And the same thing is when I talk about dodgy sponsors and not taking dodgy sponsors, I hold myself to that. You know what I mean? And when it comes to doing dodgy tactics to grow, I hold myself to that. I don't spam my Discords. I don't spam the Stream Scheme Discord of 60K people. I don't spam the community post go lives. I don't make drama videos. Like, this is the first video I've ever done about this. And the only reason I did it was because 280 USD is a huge amount of money. You know what I mean? Like, I am not virtue signaling because I hold myself accountable to these things, and it fucks my stream up and it fucks my growth up. Because I could have done exactly what every other content creator did when Streamlabs blew up, and I could have made a video all about how shit Streamlabs is. When Artesian builds came up, I could have made a whole video about it. When all these drama things happen, you could make content about it. But I don't, because I don't think 99% of my audience are at risk or will learn from it. This particular case, I think, is something that puts them at risk and they need to know about. And it's a wider issue in the streaming industry as well, isn't it? So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's definitely in your field, because when I look at your channel of Stream Scheme, it is advice. It is actual practical information that you have brought yourself, and you can show this is that, and the other. And when it comes to Artesian, it's kind of like, yeah, you can do like an opinion piece, but we all know it. Like, what do you learn from that? Nothing really. Don't sign with Artesian is the best you can come out of it with. But when it comes to Ninja saying, yo, I'm doing what Eljay is doing, but for 280 USD on how to build a stream, that's when I think you can have a say. Because obviously we covered this in last week's podcast. If you haven't listened to it, please listen to it, because we go in depth about what every single course is. Or please go and check out Stream Scheme's video that obviously Eljay is talking about right now, because it's a wild ride. And every single class finishes off with, let your peers know about what you've done and go watch them, because it's basically a nice way of saying follow for follow.
Yeah. Well, it's a premium Reddit thread.
Yeah, it is. A few people have openly, one person has said as well, I don't know why you're making fun of him. This advice of networking could actually be really important. And I was like, this isn't networking though.
Yeah.
Like, and I think this is something I listened back to our last podcast and we touched on it. And I tried to touch on it in the video as well, but I don't think we really explained it. There are dozens and dozens of coaches, enrollment packages that exist as streamers, as Instagrammers, as TikTokers, as everything, right? And you can usually find the ones who are who are out there to get rich quick, because what they do is exactly what we just talked about. The follow for follow, the peer for peer, the engagement for engagement, the support for support. And the reason is because in the 30-day course, you're all engaging with each other. Your analytics look like they're going up, and then the course ends and almost all of the people who did it leave because they were only there because you were watching them as well. Okay. It's not networking, it's sharing, and it boosts everyone up to make them feel better. And then the moment the course is over, everyone just goes their separate ways, and you've not built anything that is actually going to help you continue to grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I want to clarify that, right? Is like, I'm not making fun of networking. I'm making fun of people pushing follow for follow and support for support inside a paid course because they know it makes their course look more successful, which we talked about last week as well. But I wanted to just, that's the final thought on it. That's my last little pin in the Ninja thing. This video will only get like 10,000 views and then it will stop. It's like one of my best performing in the last 10 videos. But again, when you do videos like this, it's news and it's an event. So like it'll die in a week when something else happens. It'll only get 10K views because people don't really care. And honestly, the truth of it is you can look at other channels like Devin Nash, and like after a month, the video with 23K views that got it in a month, it never gets any more views than that. That's just a reality of it. It just doesn't move forward. Whereas other videos that are based on search intent, which I always push, like for example, how to customize your Twitch bio and stuff like that, that'll go on that in 2 years time, if it's still going, it'll be at 100K views. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm glad I did this video. It was a fun experiment to try new thumbnails and stuff. And I'm surprised that some people sit there and honestly believe that I'm openly being malicious or I'm punching down and stuff like that. When it's like, I don't know, man, this is a pretty messed up thing to try and push to your 10,000 young audience, strong young audience. So I don't know.
I think so. We already made our opinions be known on it, obviously. But the thing for me is you really are, when you are the top of the game, you are known as the face of streaming for such a long time that you really do have the volition to kind of put your face on anything and get a quick cash grab. Like you look at the world at the moment, it's NFTs, just the pump and dump schemes that people just go, this is going to blow up. You know, you see it with all the like the Paul brothers and, just all these big influencers.
It was called Team 1000.
Yeah.
Influencer 1000. And it was like Jake Paul did it where it was like 1,000 people are allowed to join. and they'll all help each other grow. Dude, yes, you're 100% right.
Yeah, exactly. It's just this weird thing. And if you have a different take on it, completely fine. Obviously, if it works for you, it works for you. But for us, especially when you sign off in streaming, I don't think it's a great measure to pay $280 when the best experience, as we've said, is just go live. You are going to learn so much more from going live than reading a theory book or watching some videos about it, because it all comes down to you at the end of the day. Nobody else can do this for you apart from yourself. But that should probably lead us nicely into when you do start streaming and you do get a bit of recognition, you're kind of on a bit of a roll. You check your email, your business emails, we like to call it. And oh, what's this? We've got a sponsorship deal for you, rappers. And I click on that bad boy as soon as I can. And I look inside and it tells me about how this is the greatest invention. It's about a new loot crate content that you can get with your viewers, and they can open it up and they can screw with your stream like this. And then you think to yourself, do they even know who I am? And I guess that really brings us into today with shady sponsorships. What are the good sponsorships? What are shady sponsorships? And should you be doing any sponsorships when you are still a small-time streamer? What do you reckon? So, and moving on to our next topic, the Q&A.
Going on.
I've said this so many times. If you are 20 viewers or less and someone wants you to join a program or get sponsored or something like that, you got to figure out why. Because your 20 viewers convert to maybe like 1-2 clicks, right? When you're smaller, you do have a higher click-through rate because people want to support you.
Yes.
But like, dude, the reason Raid Shadow Legends reaches out to every individual person is because if Raid Shadow Legends talks to someone with 20 viewers and they say, hey, if you get 10 people to sign up, we'll pay you X dollars. And they say to their very committed audience of small viewers, hey, if 10 of you sign up, I'll be able to do this and this and this. Those 10 viewers are much more likely to sign up.
Yes.
Than if I say to my audience of 120, hey guys, sign up to this. You know what I mean? Like they'll still do it.
Yeah.
I honestly believe when you're small, you just pretty much have to be aware of the fact that majority of people who reach out to you are just trying to scam you and your audience.
Yeah.
They just want to use you, or even just like, programs that are, affiliate programs. There are some very bad affiliate programs out there that make it seem like, ooh, cool and fun. And then you realize how much of yourself you are, or how much of your streaming soul you're giving away to these brands just for accepting this agreement.
Yeah. Well, it leaked. Maybe we shouldn't say the dollar amount or who it is, but recently it leaked by accident. He showed his DMs off that someone was offering him someone was offering a large streamer a gambling sponsorship. And let's be real, it was a huge amount of money, and I think a lot of people wouldn't say no to it. And
it was a week as well. It was this amount per week if they did the requirements specified to them. And you got to think to yourself, when it comes to gambling, if they can offer X amount of, is it okay to say the amount of dollars if we don't say the streamer?
I don't know. I think you can say it. Like, for example, other content creators are out there with leaking their numbers.
Okay, so this person was offered $900,000 USD a week to do a gambling meta of, streams, I should say, gambling streams, $900,000 a week. If you do that for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you are basically set for life. Now, I want to put it out there to you boys. Obviously, we have our moral compasses. And we are all in different positions in life. Some people may find it really hard. Some people may be well off. If you literally had right now in your email, Gamba Company, $900,000 if you do 1 week of gambling streams, where's your mind at right now? Because that is a lot of money and something that you would I know that I'll be thinking in my head, I know that this is completely wrong because I do not believe in it, but $900,000 sets me up for however many years of streaming to continue. Where's the line for you fellas?
You can go, Nick.
Yeah, I was like, no, you're completely right. Where it's like that's a big thing to say. Like that is a insane to comprehend amount of money per week. But at the end of the day, you gotta really think to yourself, is all that money truly worth what you're losing? And what you're losing is credibility, your own moral, you're part of your soul, because you've taken this gambling deal.
Yeah.
And I look, I try to be a good person always, but even as insane as the amount of money that is, I would feel guilty for the rest of my life if I took that.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I think it would kill my stream scheme channel.
Yep.
Because people wouldn't trust my word anymore.
Yep.
I think a large chunk of my audience who watch me because they respect my opinion and who watch me on like my streaming community, who watch me because they know I do the right thing, would leave. Like for example, we talked about this on my stream the other night. I have a huge amount of female viewers, and I was trying to figure out why I have a huge amount of female viewers. I said, why do I have a larger amount of female viewers than most male streamers? What's going on? And a lot of them were like, you're harmless. You're not going to belittle women or blondes, or you're not going to make jokes where you punch down. I've never heard you make a joke where you punch down at someone. You're funny and you're fine without having to hurt people or without having to be intense. And then also one person was like, you're married, so I know you're not an absolute fucking twat. And I was like, I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
But after all, we just talked about a course. Anyway, but
Yeah.
but like I know people will say that this isn't true. I know people will say that I'm lying right now. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't take $900,000 for a week of streaming. Like, I'm not a big streamer. I don't lose much. I can start again. You know what I mean? Yes. But you know what? I would fucking hate myself.
Yeah.
I get offered huge money to push crappy things. I won't go into who and what, but I get offered daily to promote terrible get-rich-quick schemes, terrible get-rich-quick apps, things that are just like absolutely the worst of the worst, gambling, alcohol, you know, and some of them are really fun content ideas. Yeah. We'll send you a bunch of your favorite whiskey. All you have to do is go live and do like this whiskey stream on these days and these Saturdays and do these things, and you can incorporate it here and do this stuff. And I love whiskey. Yeah. But you know what? I don't drink on stream because I know that there are recovering alcoholics in my community. Yeah. And I'm not going to fucking do that where they think that it's going to have fun. And when I learned that was something they struggled with, was the fact that they would go around to Twitch streams on a Friday or Saturday night and they would see streamers getting drunk, I was like, you know what? Yeah, that would suck. I don't want to do that to these people. I want to be the right person. And people will say you're virtue signaling. And I'll say what? You can say I virtue signal the day you catch me out stepping over that line and being a hypocrite. Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take that on board. I want to be the best I can be. And if you see me fuck up, call me out. But I would not take the gambling money. Even though it would set my wife up, set me up, set us all up, I cannot do it because I would hate myself.
In saying that, I already hate myself. So if any gambling companies do want to come to me, I am all ears. No, but I think you raised a really good point. I also think I have a very high female viewer count when it comes to my streams and everything like that. And I think we all in our streams create a positive space. And as soon as you get a sponsorship deal that kind of goes against that, like it obviously is, when you think about alcohol, when you think about gambling, nothing good comes from it apart from the fact that, yeah, you can get tipsy and things like that and you know your limits, but it's also like that's the most you can get out of it, really. And when you do kind of put your moral compass in line and people see you going like, this is the best bourbon in the world. Now watch me scull this down. What content is that? Because we know that the only reason why I'm doing that is when I'm getting paid a shit ton of money. Yep. And going back into the gambling thing, what people also don't understand is these people get paid $900,000 on top of what the casino company gives them to gamble with. They don't use the $900,000 to gamble. They have their own account, which, by the way, I'm not going to say for everyone, obviously, because I can't say that. But it has been known that the odds favor them on the streams so that when they get these big payoffs and these crazy flashing lights and money amounts on the screen, that most of the time you will not get that on these gambling streams. It has been proven. There's articles out there. Read into it. But please do not fall into that thing of like, oh, he just spent $100 and he just went all in and now he's got like $1,000. I think it's definitely deceitful. And I know that that's what would be in those gambling streams as well.
And the way the affiliate programs for these work, if you boys are curious, the way the affiliate programs for these work, and this is one of the big reasons why Twitch cracked down on allowing affiliate codes and affiliate links to be pushed on the actual thing, but they're able to be pushed in other places still, such as Discords and other places and Twitters. But the way it works is you sign up using their code, and then for all of the money you lose, all the money that goes to the house, a percentage of that goes back to the creator who used the affiliate code, which means that every single dollar from an affiliate code that you get given is money they lost gambling. let's just throw at most of these places, not for all of them. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want people to take away two things from the gambling side of this. One, that's dirty money right there. That's a life-threatening and crippling addiction right there. People are going to be like, what about OnlyFans and these women in hot tubs? Shut up. Two, the second thing you want to take away from this is the fact that these companies are willing to spend $900,000 a week to sponsor these people because they know they're going to earn that money back by a huge margin.
Yes.
They're not losing money. If they were losing money, they wouldn't be pushing it. You know what I mean?
Especially $900,000 a week. They must be making so much to even be like, yeah, whatever. We'll see how this flies. 900,000.
I'm not saying they're going to earn the 900,000 back for that week in that week. But the more people they get signed up, they know it is an addiction and they know they're going to consistently push it and consistently go for it. They know they're making that money back. But here's the thing, right? We all know about gambling. We all know about alcohol. We all know about the dodgy, bad red tape ones, like those things, right? And we've all heard about how the moment you start doing that stuff, you're in trouble. Also, don't throw it out there. The moment, also it's funny, right? Females have a much stricter rule on this. Did you guys know this? So I was watching a Devin Nash podcast, and he mentioned the fact that the moment a female takes one of these brands or even does a boudoir shoot, like in swimwear or something like that, they instantly can be like blacklisted as a high risk influencer, and they won't be reached out for sponsorships. Which I think is wild, right? Because I've been on stream in nothing but a pair of jorts where you can clearly see the outline of my testicles, right? and that is way more sexually charged than a woman in a bikini at a pool, or you know, posting a photo of her on Fan House, you know, looking nice for a night out and stuff. And I've still got very reputable sponsors since then. You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on. We all know about the dodgy sponsors, right? We all know about the really dodgy ones. But I think there's another level that people forget about. And that is the well-known brands that do messed up stuff and people still sign with it. Yeah. And I get these a lot. And maybe we shouldn't name names of them, but there are a few of them, for example, who have been heavily involved in union busting. Yes. You know what I mean? And this was big news a few months ago, and every single large streamer, for example, in OTK and stuff like that, you guys can do your own research if you're curious. It's very easy to find. Quit. They quit because their agencies, their brands, the information they were given, everyone looked into it and said, this is worse for your brand than it is good for your brand. Yes. The money they're offering is not worth what is going to happen to your brand. The things they are doing are not good enough. And it's true. The things that were happening for things like this in this situation were, the things that were coming out were bad. Right? A little bit later, they voted, the workers voted, and they voted against unionization. And everyone's like, oh, cool, we're all sorted then. Everything's okay. No, not in the slightest. The only reason why workers vote against unionization is usually because they've been told. Fired. Exactly. Anyway, so there are the brands that do these things. Now, a few months later, this brand has decided to do a big campaign push. And I want to throw it out there. I know some streamers who have signed with it, and we've had discussions about this, and we know that we're all just doing our best. You have to get, you've got to get paid. You have to pay rent. This isn't a gambling brand. This isn't the devil. Do not feel like I am attacking or calling anyone out who signs with sponsors like this. It's merely a discussion about where you draw your own line to be able to continue to do this full time, to be able to continue to make a positive influence to your community. Because if you have 200 viewers and you take on this sponsorship, and it means you can keep streaming for 6 more months, and you can create a positive environment for those 200 viewers and allow them to, you know, have some entertainment, do those things, that it could be, it's a positive offset. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my question is, and my thought process on this is when someone reaches out to you and it's a brand that might be dodgy, they've done a few dodgy things, they've been involved in dodgy activities, stuff like that. How do you guys find out about it? And 2, where do you like start worrying, or do you draw the line, or it's such a hard balance? It is.
It's really tough. Yeah.
Yeah. Nick, please start off.
No. Sorry.
I'm just saying that the big thing for me.
No, you start.
No. Eljay, you start. You start. The big thing for me is that most of my sponsorships come through Twitch directly, I would say. I think it's very rare if I get like a sponsorship outside of that. It has happened, but mainly it's through Twitch. Now, obviously, the big thing for me is that usually the requirements for me to do these sponsorships without, you know, disclosing NDAs and things like that is it's usually around a 2-hour stream. That's and then I can do anything afterwards before, that kind of thing. Now, the sponsorships, when they do get delivered to me and go, would you be interested in this? I obviously do my research, you know, like it's big brands. You know, I've done, you know, Samsung and some movies and things like that. Quite harmless, very, you know, of the time. While when you do get those big brands, those evergreen brands, some may say, that kind of stretch out and that is their whole corporation, that's when you really have to start going, okay, I'm now going to be affiliated with this brand. And there has been some stuff in the news recently about what's going on. Now, it's kind of the conundrum that we've talked about in the past. I think it's off stream about, can you separate the art from the artist? You know what I mean?
We talked about this off screen. We were talking about Sean Connery in the original
Sean Connery,
007.
things like that. You know, and I think it's a very similar. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but it's very similar. It's like, where do you?
I think it's more similar than even like.
Oh, really?
I think it is exactly. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. That's the conversation.
Where you draw the line.
Is you know, and I think this is a big push as well, because I'm personally not going to play the Harry Potter game that's coming out. And maybe this is too much of an intense topic, but I don't want to support the franchise, right?
Yep.
And I think that is a fair thing for me to choose to do. I'm not going to insult or judge people or say whatever it is about the rest of it. But for me, I don't want to support the franchise. Personally, I don't give a shit about the franchise. Wasn't really into Wizards. I think it's kind of lame. No?
Outrageous. No, but I'll say, I've read the books once and I've seen all the films apart from one of them. But I never got into it like a lot of people. You know, they're diehard. They're hardcore, man. They're like, what house are you from? Do you know the backstory of
What's
Cho
your
and things like
Patronus?
that? Yeah. Like they know all the spells and things like that. But I can understand. Oh, so
that's my Patronus. Expecto Patronus. And it's just my testicles floating through the air, bright blue.
in jorts. In
In jorts.
They will always protect me. My big shield.
Yeah. Specto testicular.
Instant death. The
Leviosa.
balls that shall not be named.
You can tell I don't watch them or care about this stuff.
But it really does come down to that, because I think we talked about this in the Discord as well. It's the thing of like, when there's such big corporations, and if you've ever worked in a big corporation, there are things that you can be labeled with that you are not directly have done yourself. For instance, you know, like when it is a big thing, the head honchos at the top will go, we're going to do offshore things like that. And obviously the risks over there, it's like substandard conditions, things like that. It really comes down to the fact of like, I know that I'm going to now be representative of this brand with all this stuff going on. Is that best for me? How much money am I willing to take to have that black mark on myself? And also, it does come down to, I think, a variable where you are in life financially. Because I know that if I was like scraping together money and I'm eating like peanut butter on toast most of the days because I just can't afford things, it's like, do I want to take this quick money grab to better myself? Or do I want to kind of keep my character and my moral intact, but still live kind of destitute? Now, I'm not saying I'm by no means destitute by that. I just want to make that clear. But when it comes down to
begging for subs, everyone. Reapz is begging for subs.
If you do want to sub, twitch.tv/Reapz. When it comes down to the individual itself.
Isn't it 314? Reapz 314? Did you just give the wrong Twitch thing?
Did I say twitch.tv/Reapz or did I say something else?
No, you just said Reapz. It was just really quickly.
Is it just Reapz?
It's just Reapz, yeah.
What happened to the 314? Did you change that?
316?
It's just what I was saying. 316.
What is it for?
Fake fan.
Is it Twitter?
Fake fan.
It is Twitter. It is Twitter 316.
Right. And also, it's good that I'm a fake fan because that means we're not parasocial.
Got him. Got him.
He's twisted it.
He's twisted it on me. But I guess the big thing is like, I don't know, because when you get off of those things, everybody has a different situation that they're in. So I can't really judge you if you like, you know, let's just say you've had a baby on the way in your family and then you've been offered this amount of money and you can have a better life for your child because you got this amount of money. Like it's very hard to separate the two. Now, obviously when you're a big time streamer or a big time influencer or whatever it is, like we can make the thing of like back in the day, there was the whole Valkyrie scandal with the reflect blue light thing. You know, that was big. That was everywhere. And then obviously she revoked her name from it because of the bad press and things like that. But it depends on the individual themselves is what I would say. But Nick, what say you?
Everyone, like, I completely agree with everything you said. But when you get offered or put into these kinds of situations, you're going to have the people who are conscious about where they move their line.
Yeah.
And then you're going to got the other sides of the other group of people who are willing to move their line if they have one, but they're worried about their public perception.
Yes.
It's like that's the two things that people will fall into both sides. Well, I mean, you obviously could be both, but also sometimes it'll be one or the other. where it's
Yeah.
like they're happy to take that deal and take the money, but they're worried about their perception, their credibility because of whatever this brand is tied to.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. It really comes down to the situation. Without naming names, one of the examples that we are referencing, I personally did not know about it because I've never been in a position where I've had to go and research this particular brand. And it's
This
tough.
is the one from the Discord, right? That I brought up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that one.
I didn't even know about it until you brought it up.
Yeah, a well-known sponsor that the only reason I know about is because every time a sponsor comes up, I Google sponsor name, drama, sponsor name, bad, or sponsor name in the shit. I hunt this stuff down because I'm scared. Sorry, keep going, Nick.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. It's like, at some point, maybe there's a lot of brands are always run into some sort of drama, but it depends on how big that drama is or how small it is. It does it in the grand scheme of things truly affect you and your perception? Like, that's a personal kind of, and that's the thing, in these situations, you're going to always have people reaching out. They're going to reach out to people that they trust, whose opinions they trust and that they respect, and be like, look, I'm seriously considering this. I need some advice. What do you think? Just to try and almost, they want someone to understand that they have their point of view and say that it's okay. Like, I think that's the when it comes down to it, they want someone to tell them that it's okay to say yes.
Yeah.
Because I think, everyone's scared. Everyone is so scared. We're in this world where you slip up at all and everyone knows, everyone sees it. And look, with the way the internet works, and things can easily spread like wildfire, but some things will stay around for a while. Some things will just a week later everyone's forgotten. So it's really, really tough. And a lot of people were comparing it, someone had said, not someone, but like, people will often compare something a brand's done to like another company. Be like, oh, well, this company does this as well, and no one gives a crap about that, using that as justification. But then, I really don't know how else to say it when it truly comes down to whether it's like deep down, it's like, okay, I don't support what they're doing in the background, but they haven't messed up anywhere else, and I kind of you could use the money, it could help me. I'm going to take it. I don't think
every situation is different. That's exactly what you're trying to say, right? Like, I think all of us agree with that as well, that everyone's situation is different, and we have to draw our lines and do our best to pay rent and do these things and keep doing what we want to do, while also making sure we don't stain ourselves. And I think you're 100%, Nick. I think you're spot on, dude. Sorry if I cut you off. I'm just agreeing. Honestly,
that's fine. That's fine. My PAX thing just refreshed, so
I'm doing that right now.
Look, fine. You guys buy PAX tickets. I'll hold the show down.
Look at this big shot over here.
I gotta throw it out there. It's a toughie at the end of the day with all these brands and all these different things. And I hope people don't think that we're being virtue signaling and stuff like that. But I don't think we are, because I think, and I also think that at the end of the day, when we speak big like this, it does mean that we're holding ourselves very accountable. Yes. You know what I mean? I can't take a crappy sponsorship because I've been so open against them. And that also means that it's much easier for me to say no to crappy sponsorships because of that. And I like that. I kind of like the fact that when I say it publicly, it means I have to hold myself to it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's fine. Millions to gamble? I don't know. If it comes to my inbox right now, I'm saying no, I wouldn't. But if it comes to my inbox, maybe I'll think differently. If my wife and I get pregnant, maybe those millions will be enough for me to decide, you know what, I'm going to do this. And if that's the case, transparency, I think, is a big deal. Also, I think being transparent to your community.
We do live in a community as well. I'm not saying people can see this as an out for sure, but I don't mean it in this respect. But week to week, you have a new scandal, whether it's gambling, whether it's hot tubs, whether it's whatever. There's a new scandal, and then people move on quickly. The villains of yesteryear are now no longer thought about because, there's something new. So when you do these things, you are going to have that that black mark on your character and brand, but then it can quickly move on and people forget about it. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that we live in such a crazy, consumerist culture where everything's on demand. People want new stuff that sometimes they forget about it. Now, again, it really comes down to what you hold accountable in your brain, because you do have that whole thing of like, I've got to live with this. This isn't somebody else, type of thing. You're going to get a lot of backlash regardless of which sponsorships you do. When you get to a certain stage, if you don't do sponsorships, you're going to get backlash for not doing sponsorships, It's this weird mentality. I live in a kind of world where, as we've talked about, I am my sole profit. I shouldn't say sole profit. My majority of profit comes from Twitch. Like, this is what pays the rent. This is what pays what I can eat for the week, type of thing. And I hate it that I have to rely on the kindness of strangers to do that. I am always positioning myself to get sponsorships to hopefully not have to rely on people and go, you know what, guys, just sit back, relax. Don't worry about subs, which a lot of big time streamers are doing at the moment. Don't worry about that stuff because I've already made so much money that it's fine. That's where we all want to be in life, where it's like you can hold yourself accountable. You've made yourself, you're set for life, and now it's just about creating content and hopefully, good vibes for your community and yourself. But only so few people in the world will ever reach those levels. So it really comes down to the fact that I want to position myself for a contract with Twitch or whatever company will be like, we want you to stream and we'll pay you X amount per week. But then it's kind of like, okay, I've got a lot of stress off my brain about how I'm going to pay things. Nick, I know you know this because we work part-time for companies to see ourselves through streaming. But I would love to not do that. I would love to focus solely on it. And I am, don't get me wrong, I am doing that. But I do from time to time have a casual job in case this all goes to shit. People move on. This is a crazy industry where, Twitch can be gone in like a year. You look at Mixer, you look at things like that. I'm not saying it will, but things happen so quickly. MySpace to Facebook happened in like a month or something. It was nutty. So it really does come down to how can you benefit yourself to create a longer career for yourself in content creation, and what grounds will you reach to make that happen, I guess is the good way of looking at it.
100%. Yeah. The whole culture has changed where you mention as like any mention to money, a few years ago on Twitch, and you would be marked as sellout, greedy. Oh, they're only doing it for the money. Yeah. But the whole culture shift has changed as content creation's become, I guess, more synonymous in sort of day-to-day life, and just kind of everyone's, I guess, more accepting of it in general, and understanding that people are trying to do this as a career. And to do that, you need to be able to sustain yourself. Obviously, people will be able, for the most part, be able to identify who's like trying to beg for subs, or beg for like people with no incentive or anything like that. But for the most part, you want to provide value, and the less exact. And I've always said, streaming as a whole is a volatile career. It's a volatile career. Your income is volatile. You want to make sure that you have a guaranteed paycheck at the end of the month. Yes. And that's those sponsorships that you're talking about, Reapz. It's the ones that are like, we're going to pay you a certain amount every single month. And like that's what you want. And even these one-off sponsorships are awesome, but you don't know if you're going to get another one. You don't know who's going to be the next one.
Can I just quickly say as well, you just brought up a really good point there, Nick, that I totally forgot about. I've done sponsorships, and I usually have to do these sponsorship outside my normal stream hours. So sometimes people stay up to watch these sponsored streams from my community, and I feel like there's some backlash at times because they're like, oh, Reapz isn't as interactive with the chat when he's doing these sponsorship streams. And it's two things. First of all, one, I'm trying to do a very good impression for the sponsors who have actually paid me to do this. And two, people don't understand that in the background, there's a Discord open with people telling me things. There's also things that I have to hit. There's marks I have to do. There's a schedule that I have to put in place to go show X now that I'm focusing on. And it's not that I don't want to be fun and everything, but you do see the sponsored streams where it's literally just like a logo in the top right of the screen or whatever, and they can just do whatever they want. Most of my things, sponsorships have been, we want you to hit this mark, and this mark by this time, and then have fun between this, 45 minutes here, 45 minutes there. And it becomes very stressful. I know that on sponsorship stream days, I always feel nauseous. I always get the butterflies. You know what I mean? I can't enjoy the day until the stream is over. And after the stream's over, I still can't enjoy it. It was like, I could have done better. I could have done this better. I should have, made it more enjoyable in this respect, because we are all our harshest judges, I think, when it comes to streams in general. So there is another aspect where it's not a normal stream. You do have a different flow and a different vibe to it that you didn't think. You think that, you know, when you did get these sponsorships, it's going to be fine and dandy. Like, I'm just getting paid and having a good time. But it is so stressful. I must admit. Yeah.
Speaking of the stress, I've come to a conclusion over these last few days, and I don't know if this is like a thing that matters or not. But like, I guess the reason why I'm jaded and why I said all this at the start of the podcast and why a lot of this has happened is like, I'm so tired of having to put all this intense pressure on myself to be perfect, to do everything appropriately, to do everything right, and to make everything happen that's so good and so this. And then I see so many people around me don't have the same pressure. And I'm like, I mean, like, they probably put themselves their own version of their pressure, but like they're willing to fuck up, right?
Yeah.
They're willing to have things, you know, do this and that, and they don't need to bat a game of 100. But like, I feel like I'm walking down. I feel like I'm walking out onto the field every day with this baseball bat, thinking to myself, I need to bat 100 right now. I need to home run every single time. The bases are loaded. Everyone is ready to run. If I fuck this up, everyone falls through, and it's all on my head. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the sole wage earner for my family. You know, I want to buy a house one day. I want to do this as a career. I want to balance this. I want my audience and my community to have a good community to be in. I want to make sure they're looked after and not scammed. I want to have all these rules, you know, and I feel like every video I release needs to be perfect. And this video last night I released, I felt like, you know what? I just want to have fun. I want to laugh. I want to talk about this dumb thing, and I want to give someone a lesson that is, be wary of who these people are. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's like, I'm so anxious about this whole thing, because in my head, it's like, this is one of those opportunities where this might not bat 100. This might come back to get me in trouble. Like, legitimately, like, I could be liable. You know what I mean? Like, like, Ninja's been very open about this stuff, and Masterclass and Ninja might come back and go, hey, you talked smack. We are coming after you for this. We're going to take you down. Which, if they do, they'll just DMCA the video, because I used clips from the trailer, which is fine. They can do that, and I'll just give them the money for it. But like, it's just, for me, I don't know, man. I'm feeling the pressure, and I think a lot of people, and I wish sometimes I was more flippant. I'm going to say it. I wish sometimes I was more like Ninja, where I could throw my face on a course like this and not care about it, because I know I'm going to sit there and still have 10,000 viewers tomorrow.
You're a good person, Eljay. You're a really good person.
I don't want to be. That's what I'm saying. You know? And I think the way I'm going to do this, and one of the things, the takeaway for this is, I think I'm going to be a bit more looser. Like, I'm never the kind of person who's going to make fun of people below me. You know what I mean? But the more I've been on Twitch, the more scared and felt like I've had to bat 100. When I had 20 average viewers, I would make jokes, and there are some clips out there of me with 20 to 100 average viewers, 20 to 50 average viewers when I first started, and the jokes are fucking hilarious, right? Like, they're so much more confident, they're so much more off the cuff, you know what I mean? And like, even in this podcast today, like, talking about like my Patronus being a pair of testicles or stuff like that, and like, those things aren't bad jokes. But sometimes on stream, I wouldn't make a joke like that, because I don't want to turn off viewers.
Yes.
But I think that walking the middle and holding myself back and not making those jokes is stopping me from being the best creator I can be. And I know they're probably thinking, Eljay, it's a joke about your testicles.
Yeah.
But it's not just a joke about my testicles. I'm trying to explain that, like, I don't want to be someone I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All this stuff about my boundaries, my moral compass, that is who I am.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm so scared that, like, by setting up sub goals or all these things, that people are going to look at me and go, yeah, you're a scam artist as well. And I think that's messed me up. Like, that's made it really hard for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I really, like, I sort of sympathize with you, because like, what I'm listening to that, I'm picturing you're kind of in this box and you're afraid to get out of that, because it's like, oh, if I do this, even if in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that bad. Like, maybe some people might be like, that joke was kind of meh. I was like, okay, whatever. But you still want to make sure, like, there's no slip up. You're pleasing everyone. At the end of the day, you can't please everyone.
You can't.
And I think by trying to please everyone, I never have a real audience. Like, I've got a really cool community who like me as is now. But like, on days where I am super, like, nervous, or I'm not making a bunch of jokes, or I think of a joke and I stop myself, you can see the audience goes like, what's going on, Eljay? You know? But then on the days where I come in and I'm just cracking jokes and I'm being myself and I'm pushing things, they can see it and they go, oh yeah, LJ's back. LJ's on form again. This is why we watch him. This
It's kinda
dry
like that.
humor.
Yeah, it's that old saying of like, ask for forgiveness, not for acceptance. You know, when it comes to this thing, I feel like that is the line, because this is a really good point to make as well. When you do start streaming, it is hobby. You can throw anything out there. You be yourself, and you do get that itch and just that drive. You're like, it's so much fun. You know, I've met this new person and this person followed and they're coming back today. Holy crap. You have a really good vibe. And then when sponsorships come into it, it kind of shifts it from being a hobby to this is a business to a degree now. And you then you look at yourself a bit more and go, okay, how can I be more friendly or, you know, kind of company, whatever, like the face of what they want me to be. And it does, like, there are times when I put myself in such like a PC head state of just like, I can't say this, I can't say this, I can't say this, I can't say this, even though it's funny, I can't say this. And I just
we're not saying racist jokes either.
No,
by the way.
no,
This
no,
is
no.
like- They're not racist.
I'm just saying that if you're doing
none of us are
something-
those people. But it's
Yes.
just like, even just a joke about my butthole, you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
that might not be right.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
we're talking about the
Anything that you
slightly
say, any
sketchy.
joke
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
taken out of context. It's the big thing. Like, and really you do have to hold yourself back and go, so what is my brand? Who am I as a person? What am I as a streamer if I'm, as you said, holding myself back from what I usually do because of fear of what can spawn from it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said this to some people the other day. They were like, I don't know what to do. I don't know why. Like, sorry, this is in the partner Discord. So if you don't know, there's partner Discords. And I was in the Twitch ANZ partner Discord, and we were discussing the partner slump, right? We were discussing that you hit partner and you lose all your viewers. And a few people were like, how do I get my viewers back? What do I do? And I said, honest to God truth, you have managed to get to 100+ average viewers. That means there was something of value there that someone or a group of people latched onto and enjoyed. If you've lost those viewers, it probably means you've lost your way, right? And I said, this happened to me as well, and I'm still finding where I am now. And I said, the thing I did was I went back and I watched my top clips over the last 2 years. The things that my community thought were the funniest, the things that I think are the funniest, the things that have done the best. I went through and I looked at all those things and I started to remember why people watched me. People watched me because they liked watching me play a game and make stupid jokes and chat to them and talk about dumb things and make dumb jokes. You know what I mean? And when I started censoring myself down because I didn't want to make a joke about my balls because I was worried it would upset people, or, you know, or whatever it is, or a jizz joke, which people will be like, yeah, it's so immature, but I don't care. You know, but like, it's when I started censoring myself down and was so careful about these things, it makes the content worse. And the people who loved and supported my content for 2 years, they leave.
Yeah.
And I think that's a weird part of it is like when you start getting to around 100 to plus viewers is when you start losing your way, because you start forgetting about why people flock to you as a small creator in the first place. And you struggle to maintain them.
Yeah. You can also go too far the other way as well, where it's like you let yourself get too loose and you're always
True.
going for that low hanging fruit, which is something that I had struggled with, and we've been trying to find that balance as well. Like,
Nick
you know,
loves
when we've
a
been
jizz joke.
Yeah, you know, like, look, whenever someone's like, "Hey, Nick, can I ask you a question?" Like 9 times out of 10, I'm like, 12 inches, next question. But you know, and I just play
He's
like
a liar as well, I see.
3 inches, next question. But you know, but there's also the other way. Like when we've been naming Pokemon, like we'll basically through this Nuzlocke, I'll be like, all right, guys, what are your suggestions? And I'll pick the best 5 suggestions from chat, and then we put it in the Twitch poll. And we just get like, you know, sometimes people just go for like just blatant, just kind of like, you know, just like, haha, like, you know, just like dick, you know. And so it's like, let's not go for the lawyer hanging fruit. Let's be clever. You know, let's try and and I'm trying. So that's kind of there's been this whole balancing act over the past, like, you know, couple months, is like kind of still keeping the identities like, we can be lewd, we can be a bit spicy, we can be fun, but let's not make that the entire identity, and let's not make that let's just not stay at the bottom of the barrel. Let's kind of involve all parts of good comedy. So.
Can I tell you a funny story about a sponsorship deal that I got told by one of the Twitch staff members about one of my streams that I never thought would happen? And this made me second guess everything about my sponsorship stream, because I'm going to be very forthright and pretty much spell it out exactly what happened. So again, This may not be true for my own thing, and if people look at this in a court of law, this is not libelous in any sense.
Allegedly.
This is a hypothetical situation that may have happened to me for a sponsored stream.
If a streamer was doing a sponsor stream and this happened, what do we think? Give me the
thinking
hypothetical.
about this? Correct. So this is the hypothetical that happened. Say a streamer was doing a stream for a movie coming out, a big multi-million-dollar movie that was made by one of the most world-renowned directors out there. And one of these most world-renowned directors out there had to verify, because they're very particular and a perfectionist about who's going to do the material for their thing. So they had to see said streamer and approve them, and they got the approval. And then said streamer came on and did a bit where he interviewed his
he or she
interviewed their non-union counterpart called Christopher Notland. That's just the name off the top of my head, right? And they then put a mouth inside this non-union counterpart called Christopher Notland and just did a thing as like, well, can I really want you to see my film? That type of thing. That was pretty much the extreme of it, right? What if said person, the Twitch staff member, got a call from the agent of this non-union counterpart, Christopher Notland, saying, shut it down right now. And the Twitch part was like, I don't know, what do you mean? What do you mean by this? What is something wrong? And then the agent said to them, they're calling the director a pig in the chat, and that's not gonna fly. And then admin looked at my stream and said, oh no, they're saying pog, as in play of the game, poggers. Amazing. And then non-union counterpart said, I'm so sorry, and then write a letter to the Twitch people saying, I'm sorry, I didn't know the vernacular of the term. That made me second guess. That streamer would probably second guess the smallest little bit of influence that they have, to then have that happen behind the scenes and not know about it until somebody told them.
Let's do another hypothetical.
Okay.
Wow.
Shoot.
Imagine a streamer. Imagine a streamer, a hypothetical streamer, was doing a stream about where there was a company who helped you when you got injured. And that hypothetical streamer and this hypothetical company, he was running around as a hypothetical Viking with a big hypothetical club.
Okay.
And he sees a hypothetical boar, beats the crap out of it and says, you should have been with hypothetical company and this wouldn't have happened. To which a message appears in a hypothetical Discord saying, maybe let's not do that.
That hog got for sure. This is what so back to our original point. When you do get sponsorships, you got to change your content, and you always second guess everything that you do.
It's like, a
little twist at the end there.
Hypothetically, I thought that was fine.
Hypothetically, I would say that was fine. And they don't get real comedy, is what I would say. But you know what? Let's quickly move on from this. And
oh my God.
Were there some questions for the week?
I want to hear more about this after the podcast.
Yeah, there were questions. I think hypothetically, those are fine hypotheticals.
Hypothetically,
yeah, hypothetical situations. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's at the end of the podcast. And hypothetically, if any particular staff members from the Twitch ANZ region are watching this, I think you guys understand that it's mistakes and we're just having a laugh about it. Because I also, the funny thing is, I was talking to some Twitch ANZ staff, and one of them was like, hey, congrats on the podcast. Great listen. So you know what? Hypothetically, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Let's go.
All right. Questions. We got a question from Coolin, who's a really good egg. Someone the other day was tweeting at me, insulting me, and Coolin got cool, and I didn't see any of this until Coolin, who's one of our viewers, replied being like, hey, leave him alone. So that was cool, Coolin. He goes, quick question. Is it a good idea to play games with viewers where they have to follow you to play? I feel really bad asking them, but I feel like I have to sometimes. And another question is, like, a lot of viewers, when I do these community streams and they don't carry over to the next stream, is it still worth it? Mm-hmm. I got some opinions on this that I've covered before, but happy to let you guys go.
Nick, do you want to start us off? Or?
It's like I'm more happy for you to start.
Okay,
good.
Sure. Right. I would say yes and no. I think that you know what you do when you say you've got to follow the channel to play. People will follow, and then they'll probably unfollow. That's just what's going to happen. Now, I understand that what you're doing, interactive viewer games, we all do it. I think it's a great thing to do for your community because, you want to have that interaction. But keep in mind, obviously, that your long-time viewers, the people who come week after week. I would give them preference. Like I would give them the first spots into the game if you're a small-time streamer, obviously. And there are new people who you don't know how are going to act in this game. Especially if you do voice chat, be very wary, because if you've seen the very popular at the time game Crab Game, they had voice chat. They also had text chat. You couldn't really censor the text chat, so you just had to put your camera over it. You could mute the voice chat. So I think you've got to be very careful in that. I never think it's wrong to go, I only want to play with followers for obvious reasons, but just keep in mind that if you do say that, they will follow, and then they will, some would think, unfollow as well, just because they know that that's the pre-requirement for them to play in these games. Now, do what's best for you. I mean, I don't think it's a win-loss or a win-win or a loss-loss, whatever you do. Do what you think is required. If you say that and people still don't follow, probably just don't do it then. If you do and you see followers, sure, that's a great thing. Let it ride. And if they unfollow, you know why. But I do say keep up the viewer games is the big thing, because you want to create a community, and that's a way of doing it. So definitely.
100%. I've always gone with we preference regulars first. And I tell, if new people come in wanting to play, I'm just like, mate, if you hang around for like an hour or two and you're pretty chill, you're not like a weirdo or anything like that, then and you fit no worries, I'll be happy to bring you in, no problems. And so I was like, I always set that precedent, and it's actually leads to a little bit of a funny story that happened, I think like a month or so ago, when I was doing a viewer game, and I believe it was Jackbox, and I had someone come in, and they were like, hey, listen, if you let me in, I'll give you a follow. And like they were really pretentious about it. They're like, listen, I'll give you a follow if you let me in. And I think we'd been dealing with those people, like kind of like some of those people all night. We'd like kind of be like, oh, can I join? Can I join? Can I join? And I was like, kind of just, I was over it. And I went, there's a clip of this too. I just went full like asshole, and I was like, oh my God, you know what? I really, I am. You know what? I will let you follow. I will bring you in because you followed. Because you know what? I'm looking at my follow count of like 13,000 people follows. I really need that one follow. You know what? I really need that one follow. So thank you so much, random person. I will bring you in for following me. And I went.
Why do they always say like, I'll do X and I'll follow? I always say the same thing back, saying, don't follow me. I just say, if that's what it takes, don't follow me. Follow me if you like the content. Otherwise, just go away.
Go away.
Like,
That's
I don't know.
I like that, man.
To answer on my end, I think that community nights need to be intensely focused, not on bringing new viewers into your stream. Like you're saying, cool, and you're saying that people aren't sticking around and they're not converting later. That's not the goal of a community night. A goal of a community night is for your community to spend time and enjoy it with you. You're supposed to be building a community throughout the week, playing games and having them come in, and then telling them to come back on this particular night, weekly or fortnightly or monthly, so that they feel special. All right. And anyone who comes in just for the interaction, they won't stick around for the rest of it. You see this every time in Minecraft. I get asked this daily. I've got a Minecraft server and I let people come play with me, but then they don't watch me when I play solo. And I'm like, yeah. Because they just want to be on stream and they just want to play with you.
Yeah.
You got to play solo and then just have one night a week where people can join. And you do that usually by telling them to join a Discord and be a member of the actual community and prioritizing your actual community first. So I do think it's still worth it to do it, but I think you're focusing on the wrong parts. And I think this is one of those things, is that as streamers, our entire brain is constantly telling us growth. Make YouTube to grow, make TikTok to grow, make Twitch to grow, community night to grow. When the reality is different platforms and different things have different goals.
Yeah.
My YouTube, I want to do really well and grow over on YouTube and not necessarily send viewers directly to my stream, because this needs to be the best content it can be for this platform. If it's good enough, people will come anyway. TikTok is the same. Community nights, people might all follow because they love playing GeoGuessr with me, but they probably won't come back on Tuesday when I'm playing Elden Ring.
Correct.
So set your goals. Figure out your goals. What is your goal with that event, and what are you trying to do? And focus on that instead of focus on people returning.
Yeah, I think there's one positive that can come out of that in terms of reaching new people, is where if you set the precedent where it's like, no, only like the community night is I'm prioritizing regulars, right? If you say that's like they can't do anything. They can't follow to get in. They can't send you $100 and bribe you to get in. Or maybe they do. Maybe they can.
I would.
Yeah. But if you set that precedent right, most people, they'll click away, which is fine because you don't want to have those people around. But there might be that like those 1 or 2 people or more that will hear you say that and will go, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll just wait around and see what happens.
Yeah.
And they'll stick around and then they'll see how you and your community are interacting with each other and having fun with the games. And they're like, these people are kind of cool. This is kind of a cool community vibe. And you might actually convert someone. It may only be one person, but that might be the one person you convert. And that's why it's better to do it that way. Whereas like if you just said, follow me to get in, they followed, they get in, and then are like, all right, peace out. So that's kind of the way I go for it. It's like exactly what Eljay said. The community night is for your community. It's not a way for you to reach out. But then in those situations, there will be people who are lurking and kind of watching who might actually decide, this is a place I want to hang out.
Yeah.
Well, early on, a lot of people came back. Like, for example, I got 2 founders, Jimino and Lockie's, bit of a shout out to them. Played some Sea of Thieves with them last night because they've been following me now for 2 years and we just naturally became mates because they didn't want to be friends with me and that meant I could do it. But like, they're good eggs, right? And they're good blokes. And they found me they're both Aussies and they found me through Jackbox on a community night. And they stuck around because, they enjoyed the vibe. Yep. They were happy. They enjoyed the conversation, and that's fine. These days, when I do community nights, the way I do it is I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to put the code to join or the link to join in the Discord.
Yeah.
They join, they verify. And if like some nights I'll get like 30 new Discord members from doing a community night. And then like 15 of them will leave next time there's a go live, but 15 of them won't. And they'll get the go live and they'll come watch me and they'll come check it out. Then they might leave if then the content's not for them. But I'm at least getting them into a place where they will receive a go live because they're interested and it's not so flippant as a ping.
Yes.
But cool, and I hope that is helpful in some way. Next, Uber Amaze, who's a legend. Uber has some of the best thumbnails these days out of anyone who's asked me for thumbnail feedback. I really like it. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the right person. I always get really nervous when I say stuff like that, but I'm pretty confident. Yeah. Uber goes, actually, sorry, I've realized I've missed half his question, so I'm just going to pull that up quickly. But essentially, Uber wants to know about external funnels because he's been posting his content to Reddit, and we've had big conversations about this offline, us three, because we're trying to talk about the best way to get this content and this podcast out to people without hurting the retention rate or without hurting the click-through rate. And so what he's doing is a couple of his videos are getting really good traction over on Reddit, but obviously this is hurting his CTR and hurting his watch time and a few other things. So he thought, I'll stop posting them there, but he's had a huge drop in viewership. My takeaway from all of this, and the big thing I always push, and the thing that I've learned from all of this, is YouTube is very smart about who your audience is once you have information. YouTube will send the video to the right people, and it will usually figure out what's going on. But it also is quite smart at separating external funnels. So I have done some testing, I've done some failures, I've done some successes, and the thing I've learned is that when you're small, do everything you can to get eyes on your video. Don't spam it or anything like that, but put it in the right locations and the right audiences to get views. One of the things we've talked about here on this podcast is we don't tweet out the video until about like a day later because we want our core audience to click, watch the whole thing before someone on Twitter who's not necessarily looking for a podcast clicks it and then gives us 5 minutes of watch time and leaves.
Yeah.
But if they do give us 5 minutes of watch time, YouTube is very smart. It says external click, Twitter, 5 minutes of watch time. And while your overall CTR will look lower or your overall watch time will look lower, it's not actually. So if you go into your videos that were seeing success and you look at your traffic sources and you sort by traffic source and you sort by CTR and view time and retention rate, you'll see that like where your video is getting clicked and where they're performing the best. YouTube knows that. And if your entire video is getting huge CTR and huge watch time, specifically in browse, like it could be 15% CTR on browse traffic, right? But your CTR looks like it's only a 6% because it's been sent out all over the place, got all these impressions, all this stuff like that. Or you could have like on a 20-minute video, you could have a 13-minute retention rate on browse, but a 2-minute retention rate on your external, and it looks really bad. And you're like, oh, this video was terrible. It only got 2-minute retention rate overall, like 3 minutes. No, YouTube knows that if they share it to the right people on the platform in browse, you're getting 12 to 15 minutes or whatever it is, and they are aware of that, and they will push it accordingly. So this is my approach to all of this. get it to the right people. That is the biggest thing you can do. If you're posting it in the right places and going to the right people, do not hold yourself back. The only time it's bad is for like someone like us, where we could actually just completely tank our entire retention rate if we told Twitter to look at it instantly, which is why we wait a day. Like we've had that discussion and we do that. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's the big takeaway from this is don't hold yourself back. Get as many eyes as you can, as long as they're the right eyes. Not the left eyes, the right eyes.
Yeah.
No pirates allowed. I would love to say, further on, but I know that Eljay is like the king out of the three of us in terms of YouTube and everything
Not
like
really.
that.
I fuck up all the time.
No,
dude.
but I'm saying you have a wealth of knowledge that I do not have. So I would love to go, oh yeah, I'm just saying something for the saying something, which I'm doing right now. But like Eljay nailed it on the head. You've got all the information that you need there. I would say that as long as you're making a good product and the best that it can be, I don't think you should be nervous posting it, because if it's good and people see it, they want to see more. So I just say keep going at it. Listen to Eljay's advice, and that's all I really got for this question.
Yeah. I was gonna say the only thing I can say is diversify. That's really all we can say.
Yeah.
One thing I can add is like in terms of sort of focusing on other platforms and figuring out how they bring people in. Recently, I've sort of been experimenting with sort of like how I do my Twitter go lives. And I've been using, I've done like a couple tests now. I actually need to look at the results of the second test, but did my first test and I used a bit.ly link to track clicks from Twitter coming into the stream. And I used to make kind of like a generic template of like a go live photo, which would have the title and then have like a funny photoshopped image of me on the other half of the image. And those tweets never got like massive engagement, right? But then when I started to get more clever with my tweets and like I would have a really funny caption that would relate to like a photo that I've taken that relates to the content that I'm making that night, I found that those tweets just perform a lot better. And that's what I've been doing for the past month. And I'm like, okay, these tweets are getting way more engagement than they usually do. So I'm wondering how many people are actually clicking. So I set up a bit.ly link that, redirected to my Twitch channel. And one of my going live tweet from, I think it was like from Friday, I got about 18 total likes on the go live post with 1 retweet. And there was 9 clicks towards the channel.
Nice.
And
That's
if you
like
take
50%.
Remember, some people will see it on their phone and open it on their PC as well.
Yes.
Just going to throw it out there. For example, I get told constantly that people see the ping on their Twitch notifications on their phone, and they've got their laptop there, so they'll just open up Twitch and they'll just go straight to it.
Yeah.
So remember, that's a little bit of a switchy switch.
Yeah, but it was more of just sort of kind of get some ground. And then I looked at, and then you minus like a few likes because one of them was like, Kanga. One of them was like a couple of my regular viewers who like all my tweets. So thank you. But so yeah,
shout
you
out
minus
to people
that.
who engage with us. We're tiny and we're scared. Please engage.
Please,
more
like
you
if
do,
you
the
see our
better,
tweets,
man.
yeah.
I'm going to do more photos. Yeah.
100%. But then I looked at the impressions as well. And then the impressions of the tweet were about like 650.
Wow.
So it was getting in front and even without like, even though, so Kanga has like, I think over 10,000 followers on their Twitter and they retweeted it. But even without that, I look at some of my other tweets with impressions, like without Kanga retweeting, and they're still like in the 400, 500 mark. So there's a lot of people seeing that. And I just think by being a bit more clever with how I'm sort of pushing that on sort of like Twitter, being like, hey, we're live and we're doing something. Like one of my go live tweets from like a week or so ago, I had like a little blue shell from Mario Kart, and I just said, if you don't come in, I'm going to blue shell you. And I had people commenting on that liked it, and it got good engagement as well. So you really have to make it. I guess it's what I'm trying to say with that example is you got to make content for what that platform is, and hopefully people will come over.
That's great.
Yeah. 100%. Another question. It's a very, very, very long question. Okay. It's from Don't Stab You. And I'm
my boy.
I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit.
Okay.
You call yourself digital buskers, and I think that is an excellent take, honestly, reppers, winky face. At the end of this episode, he lost his pride a long time and made me wonder, did any of you all ever have a hard time accepting donations, subs, cheers, etc.? How did you get over it if you did? And they talk about how they're finding it hard to accept viewers generosity, and even something as simple as reminding the viewers to follow the stream if they are enjoying it comes off as too cringe when I hear myself say it. Weirdly, I don't feel that way about others who do it. Anyways, I'm rambling. I think that literally just comes down to straight out the gate.
Yep.
It's just confidence. We've talked about it a lot on the podcast and other episodes, but I wanted to highlight this question because we still all have issues with CTAs and fear and those things like that, and not wanting to be a sellout. And we talked about drawing the line today, and it's just tough. It is a tough thing to do. And you have to get used to it and you have to be prepared for it. And it's kind of what we talked about earlier where I said that I always feel like I need to bat 100. It's like, fuck, should I ask people to follow if they're enjoying right now? What if someone gets upset about that and leaves?
Yeah.
Should I run ads right now when I go to the toilet to turn pre-rolls off for the next 30 minutes? Or should I not run ads and let people enjoy the music and just watch a BR back screen? Or is that going to turn people off as well? Like, you are constantly on the fly making decisions about what you think is the right thing to do and what is going to keep viewers watching or make viewers leave or whatever it is. The thing we all have to come to terms with ASAP is that every single decision you make is either going to cause viewers to stick around or cause viewers to leave. And at the end of the day, you can't control that. And you're going to have viewers leaving no matter what and make worse content if you're constantly worried about them, leaving.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, they'll get bored and they'll leave because you're sat there the entire time just like, hey guys, how you doing? It's me, Eljay. I'm just doing whatever. So
to be fair, I'd stick around for that. That's an amazing voice.
Yeah, well, that's my new stream sona that I've gotten from Ninja's course.
Oh, is this your VTubing new Eljay? I like it. Yeah.
It's called Dr. Respect. And I walk around being like...
Nurse Respect. I like it.
Yeah. I wear entirely blue and I don't have a mustache because I can't grow one. But essentially, to answer the question, did you ever have a hard time accepting donation subs, cheers? Yeah, I still do. Every day I do. It's incredibly hard to do it because at the end of the day, I am aggressively aware of people's situation. Because I never had much money, to be entirely honest with everyone, is up until I became a streamer and up until I started Stream Scheme and all those things, I was pretty much in poverty. I was the lowest of the lowest class. I grew up the lowest of the lowest class. We had tomato sauce on bread, and I didn't have any way to support content creators I enjoyed, and I understood that. And I know there are content creators who I loved who have made sentiments or statements that made me feel weird and like I wasn't supporting them enough when I was growing up and when I was watching Twitch. And until I became a streamer, as I said, I wasn't well off. I was better off, but I was not well off. I ran my own business for 5 years while I was in university as a freelancer. You don't exactly have a huge amount of income coming in. Yeah. And I couldn't spend $8 a month on a sub. You know what I mean? I didn't even have Netflix. I didn't have any of those things. Like I wasn't able to have that external income I could give to entertainment. And now that I am a content creator, I am aggressively aware that the majority of the people who watch me probably earn less than me, but work harder than me. And that's not me saying that, we shouldn't ask for these things because we're entertainment and people can if they want. But I'm just saying that, yes, it's incredibly hard and it's a dissonance in your head that you have to either shut off or you will fail entirely because it's like, shit, okay, I can't actually make rent this month as an entertainer because I closed my little guitar case on the street because I didn't feel like the people throwing 20 cents in, I was doing a good enough job for them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's bloody hard. And you've got to learn to shut that off and learn to find balance as well. You can't skin the entire sheep while trying to take the wool. You can't push it too hard because then people won't be able to do it. You need to find a balance where you're offering real value for people and where they're not feeling like they're taken advantage of or feeling pressured into doing it. And that's a hard balance to strike.
Yep. Nick, did you want to go?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to old school Nick. Back in my day. So
1800s, Dateline, Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
Back in my day, before affiliates existed.
That is so garbled. My Discord did not like that.
Yeah. So hopefully the recording comes through better.
The recording will be fine.
Yeah. But so I think I was streaming for 2 years before affiliate came out. So there was being a streamer back then, it was you were doing it because you liked it. And to go anywhere, so like the whole mentality sort of back in that day was like, if you got the check mark, you could stream full time. It's like, that's it. Done. Because like you couldn't really get any form of like proper income from streaming unless you were partnered, because that was the only way to get subs. And then obviously there was still donations, right? I don't think I started accepting donations until about 3 months or so after I started, because I was doing it. I was kind of finding my groove and was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And I wanted to save up to upgrade my microphone. And so I did. I was like, and every stream I looked at, everybody had a donation link, right? Everyone all the people I knew who were not partnered, like everyone did have a donation link. So that was like, that kind of gave me that confidence to be like, okay, so I can put that there, and it's optional. If someone wants to, they can. It was definitely weird. It was really, really weird. Like I remember like even in the first, like, you know, those first months of like, and then people decided to donate. It was always weird. It was really weird that someone would just like actively just kind of give you money. Yeah. I mean, even to this day, like I'm still super appreciative. Like a donation still is surprising to me when it comes in. But yeah, so like to answer your question, Sabi, it's like you're going to be, it is going to feel weird at first, but I guess it's always optional. The line is, you got to set the line for yourself. Are you going to be one of those people who's begging for donations and begging for subs and things like that? Yeah. Or are you going to just have it there as an option, but incentivize? I think it comes down to incentivize. Like if you decide to gift sub or gift 5 subs, or, you know, if we get 10 subs, then I'll do a wheel spin that gives some sort of prize. Like, or if you're doing something that relates to the game, like with Eljay, it's like, if you give 5 subs, you can turn off my controller. Yeah. It's offering some value in return. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, you know, with bits, for example, right? Can they trigger alerts? Can they get TTS? And then that's all, you know, personal preference for how you want your alerts to be and stuff like that. But it all comes down to just how do you provide value, and how okay are you with doing that? Because like back in the day, there was, I don't know if you boys have heard this website. It doesn't exist anymore. It's called Game Wisp. You ever heard of that?
Heard of Game Wisp.
I recognize the name.
Yeah, that was I think popped up like a year and a bit after I started, so it was probably like early 2018, I think, or early 2017, somewhere in there. And that was like a third-party platform where anyone could sign up and create like a subscription tiers essentially, and you actually got to give people an emote. They actually got an emote. I think was through like the BTTV service, I think it was, or something like that.
Damn.
Or just, I don't know how they did it, but they actually got to give someone an emote by through Game Wisp. And then, you know, I think it was half a year later or a year later, Twitch brings out affiliate. And at that point, like I was already, you know, at a 30 average viewers. So I got affiliate immediately as soon as it launched. And then everyone dropped Game Wisp because like, well, now we can accept subs, we can accept bits, and this is awesome. When it was weird, right? Because the mentality was different. When affiliate dropped, I'd already been streaming for 2 years. So my mentality was different. Like, I'm like, I want to really I want to be taking this a little bit more seriously. I've seen how partnered streamers, you know, they'd accept bits and all of that. Well, actually, no, sorry, bits came later, I should say. But yeah, it was already in the mentality of, oh, this is okay. Like people sub to partner stream and stuff. Now people like us small streamers who you know are still on our way to that tick. We can you know, actually people can support us easier and a bit better.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a bit biased here because I know CFI is an amazing member of my community, and I played games with him in the past. And may I just say that this man has a beautiful voice. Like, you know, when you hear a good voice, you're like, this is a good voice. He's got one of those voices that you're like, okay, you don't even have to put a webcam on your stream because people are just going to, you know, tune in, just listen to your voice. It's a very weird situation to be in when you do get subs, when you do get donations. I remember the first donation that I ever got was on my birthday. And somebody said, here's $10, go buy yourself a pizza for your birthday. And I was like, oh my God. And then I said, $10 is enough for a pizza. So if you just want to give me more. It didn't actually happen like that, but you can imagine. But I was very excited. It comes down to a thing of, there's two things. You don't know everyone's situation. People do have a disposable income, and you're never going to know that. And they do want to make you happy. When people gift subs, they are, I believe, going, this is a thing that I want to give to the community. And also they want to see you happy. I don't think they want to see you like you gift something and then you're like, oh man, shit. Fuck. They want to make a positive atmosphere like you are hopefully giving to them. Now, it really depends on how much, because sometimes when people drop, I think we've all had it when they get like 100 subs or like hundreds of dollars, and you're like, what is going on here? I feel so guilty. To me, it's that mentality of like, if I can do one of two things here. One, I can ignore it and go, never do that again type thing, which I have done in the past. Or two, I can be like, holy moly, I do not deserve this. And, give a reaction that maybe they are looking for. You're never going to know because it comes down to the individual in choice. But I know that I've come to the thing of like, this is my whole income. So when people gift subs and they are actually giving me money to do this as a career, I'm going to make a bigger deal out of it than I normally would have when I first started. And that may be the wrong approach. I'm sure that people were going, you shouldn't be doing that. But I always have a thing, even you can look at my info panel, if you are not monetarily, stable, please do not do this because I can't control what you do, but I feel guilty as fuck when you do it. So I have done, as I said in this rebrand, I've done alerts like Nick was saying that you want to make a bigger deal out of it. So for 10 gifted subs, I play the Jurassic Park music, the banner falls down, there's a little Reaper that pops up and confetti comes like that, and then the banner falls in front of him and he goes. It's just a little bit extra, but just to say thank you. I know this is a big deal. This is a lot of money that you're giving me and a lot of money you're giving to the community, and I just want to say thank you for it. So it really comes down to the fact that C5, because you're starting off and because you're saying that you're a small-time streamer, how do you want to be seen? You said that you make money, you've got a well-financed job at the moment, and you feel guilty, but you also know that you have gifted people in the past. How did you feel when gifting those people? Did you do it to just be kind of like, hey, I want to be noticed or things like that? Or were you like, I hope I get noticed and I hope that, they understand I'm doing this to better their community or whatever it is that you want to do. So when you do feel guilty about that, think of your own self and why you give those subs. Because I know that when I give subs or things like that, I'm like, I hope they like this. I hope they like this. And so that would be my biggest takeaway from it. Make yourself feel comfortable. And when people give you those things, they're doing it because they do want a kind reaction, and just, acknowledge it. Because I'm really bad with compliments. I'm sure you boys are too. When somebody gives you a compliment, even if it's not, just like, well, you look nice today, whatever. You're like, nah, it's shit. Don't worry about it. And then you move on. I'm very awkward when it comes to that.
Yes.
I don't know how to so what I have learned is just
I'm usually pretty okay with handling one that's from like, it's not weird. Like if someone's just like, Eljay, looking fly, I'll be like, thanks, babe. Like whatever. Like you roll
is this
with
on
it.
stream or is this in real life?
Or both, On stream, I usually take the
Because in
pants
real life,
off.
I'm very awkward. I just say thank you and I try and move on the subject, but I do.
I just worry that I'm gonna look narcissistic. But that's the thing is when I first started, I would be like super okay with it. I'd be like, yeah, baby, let's go. I know I look fly. Like, these days I'm like, you don't have to say that. I'm like, because I'm scared. Like I'm legitimately scared that I'm gonna get judged, which is so fucking annoying, man. I just can't stand that I'm still doing it. But like the only time I get weirded out by it is if it's overly sexual. And I think there's more of a push lately of people love bombing, and I can't really do it, man. I don't know if this is an Australian
What's
thing.
love bombing?
So love bombing is a term that people use in relationships where if essentially if someone wants to be in a relationship with you or wants to be with you, they'll come on super strong, like super strong, and be like, oh, you're the best, love you, like you, oh my god, you're amazing, all that stuff like that. And they use it in relationships a lot, and I kind of use it as a term now for some chatters as well. And I feel kind of uncomfortable by it because I don't know them. And I don't really want them to tell me that I look gorgeous or that they love me or all this stuff like that. And because we're not friends, I don't know who they are. And I have those lines. And it feels like it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger these days that people push that.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan of it. And that's when I start to get uncomfortable. And I'm not sure if this is an Aussie thing, but I've been talking to a few UK streamers and a few Aussie streamers and a few American streamers. And Americans, they're all for it. They actually really like it. They consider it like super like wholesome, stuff like that. And this isn't me judging. This isn't me saying it's bad. This is just me talking about my own inability to be comfortable with this. But a lot of the UK streamers I've spoken to are like, yeah, I can't do it. It makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And a lot of Aussie streamers I talk to are like, yeah, that makes me really uncomfortable when people do that because it doesn't feel like I don't know them. And it's really interesting to deal with that. And it's something I struggle with is when people do that to me, I'm like, I'm just a dude, You know, like I'm just a dude right now here. Please don't tell me that you love me or that I'm gorgeous or any of these things.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather you make a joke out of it and be like, hey, LJ, you look like you've lost weight. You know what I mean? And then be like, yeah, because you used to be fat. Like that's better to me. It's I'm more comfortable with that. And it just feels weird when someone joins chat and is just like intensely telling me how much they love me and all this stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Is this like, and it's like the person's like reoccurring, like it's a reoccurrence from the same person?
It's not individual. I'm not talking about individual people. It's like a trend
Oh,
right now.
okay.
Of like this is a thing that happens with, you know, chatters or people you meet in real life and stuff like that. And it kind of feels like OG Tumblr. You know, I was a teenager when Tumblr came out, and I kind of feel like there was like an aesthetic in Tumblr of doing that to each other. And that's one of the reasons I left Tumblr super quickly was because it wasn't for me. Right?
Yeah.
Like it didn't make sense to me to treat people like that. And a lot of people will be like, well, they're just being nice to you. And it's like, that's okay. People can be nice to me without crossing a boundary and making me uncomfortable by like pushing emotions onto me that I can't reciprocate back to them in the same way. I think that's my big thing is like, I don't tell people I love them unless A, it's a joke, or B, it's my wife or my mum.
Yeah.
And people might be like, well, you're emotionally stunted. And it's like, well, it's just who I am. Right. Yeah. And I really think it's strange. And I know it's a bit of a tangent, but you've brought it up. And it's something that I just feel super uncomfortable about since day one of people who come in and they establish an emotional connection with me from their side that I can't reciprocate, but I feel awkward and mean or cruel by not giving them the appropriate response back and saying, oh, you know, thank you so much, blah, 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 blah. You know, and I don't know. Do you guys get this? Is this weird?
It's like an unhealthy infatuation that they develop very quickly.
Yeah. And I think it feels like it's to try and become friends or try and become establish that rapport faster.
Yeah.
And it just makes me feel uncomfortable because like Reapz, you reached out to me and you were pretty like professional and just blunt and like, mate, I love your work. This is this. And I'm much more willing.
Question mark. Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
and I'm much more willing to send feed pics to someone who handles me like that and talks to me like that. But the moment people start like being super overly like emotional with me early on, either as a chatter or someone who reaches out, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing for other people. Like everyone's different. It's just, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And again, I know it's a tangent, but you brought up the whole, how do you feel about people complimenting you?
Yes.
And I just feel like it's just like, it depends on the context of the compliment and like, what is the point of the compliment? Is the compliment designed to be like dude, you've been talking about how you're trying to lose weight and I can actually see in your face you've slimmed down. Like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, that's fine. Or is it it just, where's the line?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people are like, well, I'm not telling him I want to have sex with him and I'm not being aggressively sexual with him and I'm not doing these things. So I'm not, I don't need to ask for consent. Honestly, you kind of need to think a little bit, I think, a lot of time, chatters, about whether or not what you're saying will make someone emotionally uncomfortable as a creator as well.
Yeah. You're dead on. You're dead on. And that's kind of the line that I think that CFI is going through, because you can take it in a different way. When you get those let's just say that you have somebody come into the chat and they're overly, like Eljay saying, love bomb, overly sexual, maybe to a degree, and then they give subs. That to me is kind of like, whoa. Are you trying to buy me, because like this is a weird courting thing, you know what I mean? And you may like laugh at this at home and go like, what kind of an idiot would think that they can get with a streamer that they've never met in real life? But we have done an episode on parasocial things and they do it for a response. Some people do it for different reasons. And I think hopefully you can tell the people who are there to support you to the other people who are looking for maybe romance, because you get those like the DMs and things like that. And I just ignore them. I think that's the best way of dealing with it. That if you get never go into that. If you want to contact me, talk to me in the chat where everybody could see it, or in the Discord where everybody could see it. I want it to be 100% open in that regard. And the thing is, it does become this awkward situation of just like, I understand what you're going for. And that can definitely work with some people. As Eljay said, if you're from America, it seems to be a very good thing because they can kind of, deal with it better. But when it comes to certain things, there are things where I'm just like, sometimes I do the terrible thing of just ignore the message because I don't know how to react to it. And I don't want to put on any false pretense of getting that, like, because I responded, you can do more of it. So it's a very hard situation, and it really comes down to the individual and how they deal with it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like you want to be appreciative of the support that they're giving you.
Yes,
right. They are giving you monetary support, but you don't want to give them the free pass to be like, oh well, they were like they were really appreciative. They were like, oh, like wow, I'm gonna haha, I'm already in their good books, and they I think some people expect that that when they give you so much, then that's when, like we talked about this in the parasocial relationships, where it's like
Because it's
when they give you
acceptable.
so much, they feel
They
like
think it's acceptable. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to take this. I gave you $100. I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and like anytime someone gives like massive, like they go crazy, I've been working on it, but I'll have a habit of being over thankful, because I don't want to come off ungrateful.
Yeah,
That's like
I'm
my
the
biggest
same. I'm
fear
the same. Yep,
is
dead on.
coming off ungrateful.
Yep.
I never want to be ungrateful. I don't want to come off as like this egotistical, like someone give 5 subs, like thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah. Move on.
Don't even notice it. Just like,
Yeah.
thanks for the 5, and then back to it. Like it's
So-
Yeah.
Dude, I've started doing a thing where if I'm in the middle of a story, so I used to be so worried about being ungrateful, and so worried about missing messages. And I talked about the missing messages one and how it was ruining stories and stuff, because I'd stop and go, "Hey man, how you doing? Welcome into the stream," and it would throw off the context of the story, or I'd miss bits, or it would throw off the comedic timing. And everything is timing in comedy. But I also started doing this with reading out subs and stuff. So for example, if I'm in the middle of a story and someone drops 5 subs, I don't instantly read it out and say thank you. I will finish my story. You know what I mean? And then I go, hey, by the way, thank you so much for the 5 subs. I really appreciate it. I assume you gave those because you were really enjoying the story. So I wanted to make sure I finished the story properly.
Nice.
But I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. And some people have been upset. Some people have been upset by that. But other people have understood it. And I look at it and I think, at the end of the day, I appreciate people doing things, but the content is for the collective, not for the individual paying me money at the time.
Yeah.
And it is a balancing act between finishing my stories, finishing my jokes, doing my things, and thanking someone for the support. And I always appreciate it. People know I always appreciate it. But sometimes I just need like 5 minutes before I can appreciate it verbally.
Yep.
Yeah. And you can't, no, you're not going to please everyone. You're not going to please everyone. There will always be people who are upset, and then that's okay.
Yeah, because being in the situation where it's like I'm making progress, right? Like we're all victims of impulse buying and being a little bit responsible with our money here and there.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Not once. No.
No.
How many cameras do you have there?
Listen, here's the thing. We need to move on to the next question because we've been on this for a long time, and I want people to have their say.
We do have another one. I do have one more. It was posted yesterday. I'll pull it up. I think it's a fairly quickie, but I think it's important to talk about.
Did you finish your thought there, Nick?
Yeah, I was going to say, to finish what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah, sorry, go.
Yeah, come on, Eljay. Wow.
Reapz is the one who moved us on.
I'm sorry. It was me. Apologies, Nick.
That's all good. I was going to say, yeah, because as someone who I can't give as much support as I would like to all my fellow creators, because I'm trying to be, money conscious. So I can't go and sub to every single person. So that's another reason why when people are giving that monetary support, that's why it kind of in your head, you're like, I really thank you for this.
Yes.
Like you're making that decision to do that because you understand how many people may not be getting asked. Yeah.
You got Netflix, which is like, well, first of all, it's been inflated at all costs, but sometimes it used to be like $10 a month, right? And people are paying us $5 a month. That's like 50% of this whole Netflix service for what we're doing. To me, that boggles my mind. Like they get like blockbusters, they get documentaries, they get everything. And then they're paying us quite a considerable amount to just go, here's some support for you. It's legit. I don't know. I get blown away at times. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. And one of my mods said this to me. One of my mods, Lauren, they said, do you feel like when people are subscribing to you and suddenly people start paying you, you need to be more consistent and you need to have that schedule? You can't cancel last minute. And I said, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. The moment you start having subscribers, you need to be there, because if someone pays for 30 days worth of content, then they deserve 30 days of content. And yeah, sometimes some people say like, no, they're paying because they've enjoyed the content so far. And I say, well, no, they're paying as well because they want to see more of it.
Yes.
And so there is a responsibility there. Not an aggressive one. Like I've been fucked up because I can't stream because of the ISPs, and I feel bad about that. But I think my chat understands, and you can see why they unsubscribe. And a lot of them are just saying like viewer change schedule, or I want to resubscribe manually, and you can see all that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. But moving forward, another question. It's from Lucky Noodle Fox, who's one of my chatters. He's a legend, an absolute legend.
Lucky's awesome.
Yeah, he goes, I'm glad that Benj brought up new skills. I haven't tried anything since I found out I liked. I haven't found one since I found one I liked. So I'm going to play around with everything, including my desk layout. So I'm assuming this is talking about the lighting and setting everything up to look nice.
Yep.
And Another question I have is, how do you break up your week to fit everything in? Balancing streaming and everything else, especially if you guys have a full-time job, for example. Are you strict on your routines? Thanks for the advice. Noodle, I'm going to throw it out there. The only 2 actionable tips someone will ever be able to give you on this, I feel like, is try and make a list every single day of crucial things to get done down to the lower things to get done. Yeah, we've all got it. A tip that Reapz gave us a few weeks ago about those lists was to start labeling which ones are crucial, like need to get done, and then work your way through. Yeah, and I've actually changed it up and started doing that because I used to just make the whole list. Yeah, no, that was huge. The last like three days I've been doing that.
Yeah,
and I'm pumping through stuff. The reason I have so many videos prepped and ready to go, and I'm working with all these brands, is because of Reapz and his advice there. And then
I was just going to say, I have messaged you my PayPal, and when you're ready.
Yeah, for the coaching, right? And then the second thing is you, as you said, routine, right? Yep. Like, we are creatures of habit. Those are the 2 major tips. The thing that no one ever says to you is just the pure fact that, and Noodle, you've been in my chat, you know I've said this before, you know I'm going to say this. I feel like you've asked this question knowing I'm going to say it. Motivation's a scam, right? Yep. Motivation is the reason you want to do something. It isn't why you're going to do something. And motivation doesn't come from anywhere other than your own discipline. You feel motivated to do something because the reason you're doing it is the right reason to do it. If you want to make content because you love making content, then that motivation will help you do it. If you want to make content because you want to be big, your motivation falls through the moment you don't see success instantly. So my big thing is, if you're struggling to fit everything in, struggling to do everything, list, routine, and then honestly, just find the discipline where you can when you get the time to pump it out. Like last night, I was editing. Last night I was up about 2 a.m. replying to comments. You know what I mean? And prepping for tonight's stream. And that's not a good thing. I'm not saying hustle culture. I hate hustle culture.
Yes.
But I had shit I had to get done, and I wanted to go to bed, but I didn't. I spent 3 hours editing a brand video that has to go to a different company. I spent an hour prepping the thumbnails and stuff like that. And I just put it in there. And then 2 a.m. I was like, cool, I can finally go to bed. It was actually about 3 a.m. to be actually honest. So I was like, I can finally go to bed, and I went to bed. And the moment I sat down, my wife was like, "You're an idiot," and then went back to sleep. And I was
like, this is why I also love Claire. I cannot wait for the stream tonight to see what kind of shit she throws your way. It's going to be great.
A 2,000, 20,000 bitrate fucking stream. I know it's coming. I'm so scared,
mate. It's okay. I dealt with it. You're going to be fine. Trust me.
Apparently Twitch partner Discord, they're saying make sure you change it so you're not connecting to the Sydney server instantly, and change it instead to the auto server, which I don't know. There's only one ANZ server right now. What does that mean?
Is auto really going to matter? I don't know. I mean, I leave mine on auto, and I haven't had any issues. I'm with Aussie Broadband, so I can't speak.
Yeah, but Aussie Broadband pay attention to the servers you're on and remove you from CGNAT if you're a streamer and stuff like that, pretty much automatically. Whereas, because CGNAT's this weird thing where you share IP addresses with other people because they ran out or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you are like that, it throttles your upload and shit. And Aussie Broadband's amazing for it, apparently.
I was gonna say, I've realized a while ago we switched to the business plan equivalent of like the top end consumer plan. So like the 140 business plan. So we're not paying anything extra, and we're identified as like a business plan.
I think I did the same.
And having like that static IP and stuff. So. Yeah.
Fuck now. I have to call them after this. I gotta. Not only do I have to set up this entire fucking thing tonight, but I gotta call them after this and just be like, look, am I on CG now? Honestly, at this point, I feel like I'm not gonna call. I'm not gonna call them. I'm just gonna set the stream up and try my best, because I feel like I'm gonna waste more time on a call with them with zero results than if I just jump into it, do it all, and if it's laggy, I just say, look, boys, girls, we're pumping.
Doing it.
All right, we're pumping right now. I'm making cakes. If it's shit and it's laggy and it's delayed, then all I can do is tell you guys I'll do jokes where I'm like in the future, and I'll say, hey guys, what's 2 times 2? And when you all say 4, 20 minutes later, we'll all laugh.
Yeah.
All right.
And just make sure you're recording, at least tonight. Just make sure you record the whole thing.
I record every podcast, every stream, just in case.
Very nice. I was also going to quickly say is for that thing, I've had that in the past where my internet literally went out for 2 months, but from a certain brand. And the only thing that I could do was 1, not stream, or 2, I used the 4G on my phone to get a passable stream because I was in a good enough area. Now, obviously, not everyone's the same, but that was my backup. If anybody's thinking, how do I do it? Yeah, exactly.
That's my backup. I'm going to be testing that. I'm going to be testing that tonight. If it goes wrong, if it's causing issues, I'm going to end stream real quick, switch over to the 4G, and hope that fixes it. Because here's the thing: is that sometimes when I use the 4G for my Twitch test and inspector tests, it comes back with like a 90 quality on connecting to the ANZ servers. But other times it comes back with a 0. And that makes me realize that it's not just my ISP, it's not just me. Multiple different devices on completely different networks are all having the same issue of connecting to the Twitch server.
Yeah.
Plus, as we said at the start, we used to have 3 ANZ servers. Now we've got 1.
Yeah.
The other ones have disappeared and no one's telling us anything. And I don't believe they really need to. I just wish someone would just be like, yeah, we're working on it.
Yes.
Yeah, just some sort of confirmation about it. That's it. Yeah.
That would be good.
So I can either call my ISP and tell them to get their finger out, or I can, be like, cool, I know someone's working on it somewhere.
Yes. Definitely.
Because it's our livelihood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it literally is. So what was the question again? I got on a complete tangent in my brain, and
it was how do you balance everything? Which it's hard.
Yeah. For me, sometimes I don't balance it because the past 4 days have just been, I have one crucial goal, and that's to set up a new stream. So I've not been good in terms of uploads on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Instagram, but you do have to obviously filter. And there's always going to be things in life that throws variables at you that you've got to change it around. But the big thing for me is I can tell you exactly how my week goes. Sunday, Monday, I stream and do all kind of extra stuff after the stream as well. Tuesday is the day that we do podcasts here. I do all little bit of extra on the stream, cut the podcast, and that's pretty much it for the day. And then I stream for the next 2 days. And my 2 days off are Friday and Saturday, but I still do work. But I think it's very, very important to say that some people will see streaming as a getaway from their job, and that's great. That's really good. There's other people who see streaming as their only job, and they've got to do it every single day we've talked about it, they burn out. It is so important that you have those days off or those hours off or something where you completely shut down from thinking about the career, about what you've got to do, and just go, okay, this is me time for your own mental health and for your physical health. Get out of the house, get out of what makes you think about it, because I have felt so much better. We talked about this, going for walks, going to the gym, seeing friends, doing something social is so important to help you step back and go, oh, actually, I think I thought of a resolution for that problem I just couldn't think of when I was in front of the computer screens. And it's so freaking obvious now because I'm out and about and don't have to think about it. So I just want to make that clear as well. Don't make it everything that you're inundated and you hate it.
Yeah, make sure you set a schedule, you balance it out. Like Mondays for me are my sort of like I can have a sleep in and I can take the day a bit easy. Maybe I'll get one thing done, and then Monday nights are usually my date nights with my girlfriend. So that's kind of like Monday kind of is like that kind of mostly relaxation day. But pretty much every day I'm usually doing something for the most part. So,
yeah, definitely.
And then the only other comment that I feel like is important to highlight, if I've missed any, I apologize, but is Hamo wrote on the last episode of the podcast, hey, nice work, Reapz. You actually nailed the intro, which is great because you managed to pull it off, buddy. This week, not so much, but each to their own. And I'm glad Hamo's paying attention and keeping track of it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Hamo. I'll get better. It's all peaks and troughs, and we will get there.
You technically did better in the first few episodes. The longer we go on, you're getting less consistent.
Yeah, like
to any employers out there, I would get less consistent.
The pressure's building, or maybe we have to mix it up. Maybe someone else has to do the intro. Like,
What if we all just use one word of the intro next time? We each get to say
we write
one
it down
word,
and then we go.
No, we don't write it down. We literally just go like, hey. And then we just go.
Okay.
We have to try guess it.
Okay, I'm for this. I'm for this. This is going to be interesting.
I was just saying, my other idea was we have to we go through and we have to come up with an intro that relates to the topic we're talking about. So like Reapz would be like, and joining me today is someone who won $1,000 on an illegal crab fight, Nictacular. And then I'm like, and also joining us is someone who made an OnlyFans, Eljay or something. I don't know.
I like that.
Something like that. Yeah,
that's good. We introduce the other person. That's good.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah.
Great.
I think that was a pretty solid podcast.
Yes.
I'm going to go spend hours working on something and then hinge all of it on something I can't control because that's our job.
It's going to go great. My blessings is
Focus
with
on
you.
the
It's gonna be
positives.
great.
Nothing's happened yet. You've got your backup in place. So just focus on making that good content and enjoying your 2-year anniversary tonight.
That is true. I
Yeah.
do need to focus on those things.
Yeah.
I will do one final statement. And my one final statement, and this is my catch-all, my disclaimer, is that if anyone feels like I have been too harsh on the ninja situation, okay, because I know it'll fucking come up again because we talked about it today. If anyone feels like I've been too harsh on the ninja situation, eat shit. No, I'm kidding.
I'll cut it off right there.
No. If anyone thinks I've been too harsh, please understand that this seriously comes from a place where you guys don't see it, but we do market research, right? Like not you two, but I'm talking me and Stream Scheme. We are out there. We are looking at all of these courses. We are watching them. We are reading about them, and we're seeing what happens. I made that video from a lighthearted, insulty, kind of jokey way because I physically can't come out and go, hey, look at these 7 Twitch coaches who have caused massive issues and have caused massive drama. And then look at these 4 personalized courses that people have pushed and that have not taught anyone anything. Like, I'm not going to do that because those guys are the same size or lower, or it drags things up. And please understand, the reason why this one I felt was appropriate to talk about was because I really do believe there are a lot of people out there who are about to spend a huge amount of money on something that won't actually help them.
Yeah.
And maybe I did it wrong. I'll always learn and try and be better. And I think that on this podcast, we all agree that we have conversations about these things and we're open to admitting when we're wrong.
Yep.
Right? We're open to admitting when we're wrong. If you present us with, cold, hard, hey, dude, you were wrong about this. Look at this. Right now, so far, no one has really come out and proven why this ninja stuff would work and why it isn't wrong. But if you have a reason, if you jump in, maybe you take the course, if you jump in and you say that, whatever it is, I want to listen. I want to be held accountable.
Yeah.
The same way that I talk about as sponsorships come in, we draw the line and we approach them. I want to be held accountable to the words that I say, and I feel like I am doing that. But if you ever see that I'm not, and maybe you too, I don't know if you want to be held accountable.
I would say any of us. Yeah.
Please.
Then call us out, because our whole goal here is to create content that helps creators. This is why we started it. We said this is a podcast of small content creators who are in touch with it, made by content creators for content creators. That was our goal. And if we aren't doing that, then let us know.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Like it's a discourse. That's why we say we will read out the comments. We're not perfect, like we're definitely not. And you may have things that's like, actually, I can see why people would take this sponsorship or wouldn't take this sponsorship, or a completely different view that we don't know about because we are in our own bubbles. But please, let us know. Like, it really is important. We like having this discourse. I am wrong most of the time. And I will happily say that I'll be wrong again, because it doesn't affect me in any way. It's just like, actually, I see your stance now. And now I can hopefully do better. Like when it comes to thumbnails, when it comes to everything, we talk about this in the Discord all the time. And we go, actually, this could be better. This could be better. And it's not a place of like, oh, I'm putting you down for sake of putting you down, because it's not putting you down. It's about trying to make somebody else successful and hopefully learn from our mistakes and our successes. I.e. Christopher Notland, non-union counterpart that may not know what
that was a
means.
hypothetical.
Allegedly.
That's why we do
happened.
hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
But any final words?
I don't know. I just think that as we discuss news and these kinds of things, we'll probably end up putting our foot in it. And I think all of us are scared to bat 100. But if we're scared to fail and bat a 99 instead of 100, by the way, there are going to be so many people who are like, that's not how baseball works. I don't know, but it sounds good. All right. So, essentially, we need to have kind of the freedom to be able to express our opinions about what is right and wrong for small streamers.
Yeah.
And if we don't have that, then all of the advice and all the discussions on this podcast are going to end up being the same generic crap. And I hope people understand that this is us having open conversations, because I've never listened to a podcast or been in a Discord or been in a group where they've had an open conversation about where to draw the line with sponsors and where that balance is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wish someone had told me these things and I didn't have to figure it out for myself and I didn't have to worry about these things myself. But no one did. And I hope that this podcast is a frank and open look at our thoughts as creators. And I hope that you can take it as that and have a genuine professional discussion about it.
Great.
Absolutely. We there's not enough out there of what I feel like of what we're doing. Like the real, like talking about like the real issues and the real solutions and how to you know, how to navigate this entire thing that we call content creation.
Yeah.
It is a
the
wild
anxiety,
west.
everything. Like it's I'm very open when I get on this podcast, and again, it does feel therapeutical to a degree. Like I feel like I'm sitting in front of, I'm going, this is what I'm feeling with this week. I feel like I'm shit. Nobody wants to follow me. You know, I feel like nobody wants to talk, you know, and then people go, no, it's this, that, and the other. And this is what you can do to improve. Hopefully this is what we want out of it. To help you, help us, just help each other, man. Because again, there's not a finite pool that is success.
No, yeah.
It's an infinite pool that is success. And the most important thing that I do want to say before we do leave is that we had Gilgamesh. And I think this week, if we can take turns, I'll do this week. Nick, if you want to do next week, come to our streams and say, shut it down. Okay? Just the 3 words, shut it down. It is hypothetical, right? And we're going to say poggers. Okay?
Yeah.
We're going to say poggers to shut it down. And people will know.
Okay.
People will
Just so
know.
you know, I am gonna have a panic attack. Just so you know, I'm gonna see people saying shut it down, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I'm not batting 100.
But that's when you say poggers. This is, you're like, yeah, I will poggers, man.
Do you know what makes this even better is that like how Eljay said that there's some Twitch staff that listen to this podcast. What if they're the one that comes into the stream saying shut it down?
I did a sponsored stream the other day, and I had for Optus, and I was doing marbles because it's super fast, flexible marbles.
Yeah.
Thing. Optus, and like 6 Twitch staff joined the marble races.
Yo!
How fucking cool is that?
That is sick,
That's
man.
awesome. That's really
cool.
And then someone won. Like I had a regular who won, and I was like, I know this regular will do the right thing in this context. And I said, hey, Sam, how did you win this race? What did you do to become so fast to come first in this race? And he goes, I used Optus Flex 5G, baby. And I was like,
go. Yes. You understood
That
the
is
assignment, Sam. You understood the assignment.
dude, it was so good. It was so bloody good.
That is
awesome.
I
think you're right, Reapz. I think we might be dropping frames.
Yeah. Dropping. We are dropping frames from all of us here, especially myself. Reapz, Eljay, Nick, everyone here. Dropping frames. Have a good week. And again, love you. Please leave comments and likes in the section down here. But we will see you next week. Have a good stream.
No worries. Bye-bye. See you guys at PAX. Go get your tickets.
See you at PAX, baby. Woo.